Boom, you're right in.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, November 11th, 2021. This is your award-winning Gimmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1398.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating our vets and broadcasting live from the heart of Texas. It's the Hill Country in Texas, FEMA Region number 6. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where we're also celebrating Remembrance Day, which is Canadians Veterans Day. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Craigbot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Yes, indeed. We have two different kind of remembrances today.
Well, this is originally Armistice Day.
Oh,
but nobody even knows what that is.
Is this the poppy deal in?
I think that would be true.
Is this Poppy Day? I think so. Yeah. Armistice was that we stopped fighting. Isn't that what armistice means?
An armistice.
Yeah.
World War I.
It's not peace. Yeah, correct. In honor of those, but that is what Remembrance Day is for World War I. So that is the poppies, I think.
Yeah. Well,
and
the poppies are rare. Yeah, when I was a kid, poppies were everywhere. They would sell these little poppies. You know, you wear them around. And in the South, I've noticed it's coincidentally being in the South on a Veterans Day within the last decade, they still do it there.
Mm-hmm.
But in the North, in California, New York, forget it.
You damn Yankees. You don't understand valor.
Do they sell poppies in your neck of the woods?
I have not looked, but I'll bet you they do. I'll bet you there's people walking around with poppies. Would not surprise me. I do want to remember Lieutenant Commander Renwick Eugene Curry, base commander, one of the islands in the South Pacific, and Lieutenant Albert E. Schobel, 741st, landed at Normandy Beach, D-Day. Both my grandfathers.
Huh.
Yeah.
Normandy Beach?
Yeah.
That was a rough one.
Yeah, he got a Purple Heart. It was a rough one. I remember him distinctly saying, "Hey, son, Normandy Beach, that was a rough one." Yeah, I'll say. Absolutely. I mean, these days, definition of a rough one is I can't get Twitter to get two more impersonators removed.
Oh, you got two now?
Yeah, I got two more. So first I had the...
Two more? That's because you made a fuss about the one.
Yeah, I made a fuss about the one, which was ADEM Curry. And they removed that. And then there was...
That's because you bitched about on the show about being called Adem.
Yeah. So then two more popped up, ADAMCURY and ADAMCURNY. Both pretty convincing. And in both cases, I followed the exact same procedure. And Twitter said, "Yeah, we checked it, and we don't think that's impersonation." But every single time you do this, they say, "Well, just to make sure, you've got to upload your driver's license." I mean, that's how disgusting it is. So I'm done with it.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Upload your driver's license to prove you are slave.
I thought they were adamant about not letting that happen.
No. They didn't say why. They didn't say why they didn't think it was impersonation. Maybe they thought it was parody. But whoever this is DMing people, and it's going to be scammy. I know it will. Be like, "Hey, send me some Bitcoin. I'll double your money and send it back. I'm Adam Curry, Podfather."
Huh. Well, they've always disliked you at Twitter.
Yes, they have. I don't understand why. It makes no sense.
One person. It's obviously one person at the company.
Yeah.
I have this situation, a similar thing, where someone at PayPal doesn't like me.
Oh, that's
or they don't like the show.
Oh, that's not. This is not good. I don't like hearing this.
And every so often, they get the service gets blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's no identification, or something,
or someone sends another donation with something weird in it.
No, it's always the same.
Oh.
It's always the authenticity issue.
Mm.
And so I call in, and because you go through a rigmarole the first time, so you need a copy of driver's license, you need a real address, you need a copy of the driver's license, you need to go through all this stuff,
of which you have none, since you're on the lam.
We have everything. And then you have, so I always call in, because calling in, if you can find the phone number, which is kind
Right.
of somewhat painful.
Right.
But once you call in, you get the I have to say, PayPal customer service on call-ins is very good. They're very helpful.
Oh.
And so she goes, it's the same thing. It's happened a couple of times. Well, you've got it here. Oh, you've got that there. Oh, no, you've got that. Oh, no, this is checked out. Oh, no, this has been approved. Oh, no, I don't know why that happened. Let me just wipe that out and you're good to go.
Yeah, every single time the same. Of course. It's some recurring bug whenever they...
There's no recurring bug. There's some guy, some person that doesn't like the shows.
Oh, okay.
Ticking a box or erasing a line and some, they're just doing something. You can tell.
Well, that's disappointing.
Well, it's like you and your little stalkers there.
Yeah, I know. But, that's disappointing, but not like PayPal. It's, that's basically our bank.
Yeah, well, it is. But, we get a lot of checks too. But the point is that the PayPal customer service people, it's resolved almost instantly once I give them a call.
Yeah. Well, on this day of remembrance and Veterans Day, do we have a 3x3?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
And now it's time for 3x3. Oh, yeah. Experiment 5JCD. Comparing stories from ABC, CBS, and NBC. The never-ending 3x3.
That's right. Every single first Thursday of the week, John C. Dvorak runs down the biggest news stories from the big three morning shows. It's always riveting. Will there be shopping? Will there be actual news? John, what are you learning?
What I'm learning is that the ABC is less patriotic than the other two networks.
Really now? Huh?
So I did finally find, I rarely do this, but I went back a half an hour later to see if ABC had any Veterans Day stuff.
It's a 3x3 plus. It's a 3x3 plus.
Yeah.
So,
annoying.
Wait a minute. None of them did anything about Veterans Day?
No, they all did except ABC, except that then they did something. It was actually quite humorous.
Oh.
NBC had a very, actually an educational piece on service dogs for vets with PTSD.
Oh, okay.
And they went on and on. They had it was called Semper Fi charity dogs, and I guess Marines run it. And they had a long discussion with some guy who felt, this dog was great because he would always sense, the dog would sense when the guy was having an issue and he'd come, do his dog thing.
Yeah.
But the dog he had was a white lab like yours.
But
with black ears.
Ooh, sexy.
It was wow.
They got
beautiful.
They got the ones with the special rims. No, I don't have that.
Yeah, that's something.
I can see.
Well, you could dye them. You could dye them. Get some paint.
Yeah. We could just dip them in some ink. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm sure Tina would be very amused.
So I give kudos to NBC. It was a good report.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, CBS did. It was not as good. It was kind of overproduced show about Warren G. Harding's commemoration of the. First in 1921.
Who was Warren G. Harding? Was that a president?
Yeah. Warren G. Harding.
Just checking.
He was the one that they think was murdered.
Oh, right. Yeah.
At the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And he was considered the most, and you look at pictures of me, maybe he wasn't that photogenic. And he looks okay, but supposedly he was the most handsome president we've ever had. He was a lady killer.
Was he a ladies' man or was he married?
It didn't make much difference to him. I think he was married, but he was
the
one
ladies'
of those
man.
guys.
Yeah.
And so he was murdered, they think. And it's never been solved. He died of a heart attack or something. So he's the one who started the Unknown Soldier, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in 1921. And if anyone, it's like the unknown. Half the graves in most big military cemeteries are unknown soldiers. This was the one that was commemorated.
Mm-hmm.
I went to if you ever get in certain parts of the South, they have these Confederate graveyards.
Yeah,
which are fascinating.
All over Virginia, for sure.
And you go into the Confederate graveyard, it's all unknown soldiers. It's like unknown. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, so they had these guys reading the entire speech, and they talked about the unknown soldier's been guarded for 3,814 days, and it was, which doesn't sound right. And it was boring, to be honest about it.
I'm sorry, I was falling asleep. What did you say? It was boring? Yeah. I can see. Who
then
cares?
I go to ABC. So ABC, it was their tribute. It wasn't as interesting or as educational as the dog.
The dog seems like a better tribute. Yeah.
ABC, GMA backstage with Laura Spencer.
Ooh.
And so they're talking about, they got Chris Stapleton talking about he was happy as a clam to be singing with Jennifer Hudson. And then they had some Carly Pierce comes out and she extols the virtue of Jennifer Hudson. And then they show 3 black women singing some soul song at the Country Music Awards. And I'm watching this, and I think there's a little pandering going on here to the black community.
No.
The 3 black women was a song about hair. And it was not a country song by any means. And then they went on and on about Jimmy Allen, who is a black country and western, kind of a crossover, if you ask me, but okay. And he starts crying and on the show because he won an award for best new artist. And he's crying.
Man, how did you get through this stuff?
I was paralyzed by this one.
Tonight is the big Country Music Awards, and I have to say, I have a feeling that the Country Music Awards may do better than expected because they got the promotion machine running everywhere.
Tonight?
It's tonight.
I watched it last night.
It was last night. It was tonight.
Well, you better check it. Check your calendar.
What did you watch?
So
I thought it was tonight. That makes no sense.
So I go back. Let me finish this, and you can.
I'm sorry. You're right. I completely I'm wrong.
Yeah,
well, so let me take that back. I'll bet you the ratings are
on
shit.
ABC about
I bet you the ratings.
That's how Jimmy Allen somehow won in advance. Okay, let's go to. So I go back to ABC, and so there they are. They have some veteran who's part of some group that's helping the mentally ill veterans. They brought him out as a kind of this is your life kind of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out and he's kind of a big guy. He looks like he could kill you in a minute. And he was not pleased. And he was standing there with, of course, Strahan.
Yes.
Who brought out the guy who was about to shoot somebody. And so they gave him some money for his charity. And he finally warmed up a little bit after a while. And then they brought out a big phony check for $20,000, which didn't seem like a lot, but they brought this big check out. And as they did, they dropped a bunch of confetti. But instead of dropping the confetti under like just a lot of confetti, they dropped like a lump of confetti, which is probably a pickup truck size piece of confetti on Strahan.
Hey.
Just dropped it on him.
Hey, ever since he put the dress on, we can do anything with the guy. Release the confetti.
And so everyone's yucking it up about Strahan.
I wonder if they just hate him internally.
They must.
That's so. They're always messing with the guy.
It really. The first they put him in this segment where this guy was not a happy camper. Let me tell you, and who looks like he was going to pull a gun out and shoot him, and then they dropped this confetti bomb on him. It was, yeah. I got to keep track of this because everything they do with this guy is
bad.
It's a little bit violent.
It's off.
All right. Anyway, that's the 3x3.
Well, and to complete your 3x3, you were correct. I mean, this is why I thought they would be great. But since they blew it so bad that I thought that it was tonight, it makes sense that the 55th Country Music Awards was very proud to say they matched last year's all-time low audience. Woo! 6.6 total viewers, 6.6 million.
6.6 viewers, I can believe that.
6.6 million, but in the demo, 1.1 rating. So, yeah, sorry, boys. Celebrities ain't doing it no more. It's no longer your go-to for influencing the masses.
Pandering. They're pandering, and nobody likes it.
No, of course not. That's why people are tuning out. We could pretty much just get rid of our cable at this point. We really don't watch it. And we never watch network television, just never.
Can you get over the air? Do you have transmitters nearby?
We got a lot of over the air out here in the hill country. We get a lot of good signals up here. There's some good stuff. Dynamite.
Like what?
Oh, I mean, there's a million channels. You know what? I'll do a scan and I'll report back because
do a scan and give me a count.
There must be 50
here.
or 60. It's crazy. Well, in Austin itself, I could only get 10 or 12. And people should know this. You know, if you're a cord cutter, which you should be, in my opinion, you can use the free over-the-air digital system. And most televisions do it, or recognize it, and you can
They all do it. They have to by law.
Oh, there you go. And an antenna is $10, even less probably. Stick it on the wall.
My recommendation is get one of those flat antennas. They're flat. They're about 6 inches by 6 inches. They're extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And you get one of those things, you put it on a wall, that's a good wall, and then you just let it rip.
Off to the races. Okay, so a couple things. We don't have a lot of COVID other than, what's very interesting is to see the influx of email. Probably 40% is people now sending me links about how this vaccine is no good. Which is encouraging because it means more people are starting to see it. But, it's like we've kind of done all of this, every single bit. There's really nothing new. There's nothing surprising. It's just surprising to people who are listening. Like, oh, wow.
Well, I got a surprising clip.
What you got?
This is an ad. It's an ad. It's the vaccine.
I'll bet it's surprising. What do you have for your ad?
It's the vaccine Elmo ad.
Really? You're bringing that? Okay.
Hey there. Are you hesitant to get the vaccine?
Yeah.
Then get the brand new government-approved Vaccinate Me Elmo doll.
Wow. Elmo loves experimental vaccines.
With the Vaccinate Me Elmo doll, your kid will finally feel the pressure and shame we've successfully made you feel to get the COVID vaccine.
Quick, give me the vaccine. Elmo don't want to be responsible for the deaths of friends or family. Thanks. Now Elmo's a good person.
The Vaccinate Me Elmo doll comes with a toy syringe, a stethoscope.
Elmo, your heart is beating fast. Are you having complications?
Of course not. And a tiny vial of something. It's not the vaccine, promise. It's, water. Let your kid drink it.
Elmo, can't you take your mask off now? No! Gotta keep that mask on forever! That feels like mixed messaging.
With the Vaccinate Me Elmo doll, your child will be begging you to get the vaccine. Just scared out of their little mind for the fate of the world. Or your money back.
It's your turn. Time to get the vaccine. You want to. Sorry, you have to. No. Do it. No. You have no choice. No. Now. Or else. Or else what? Last chance. Okay. Great! Elmo loves compliance!
And for all you anti-science conspiracy believing parents, buy the re-released classic Tickle Me Elmo. It's perfectly normal.
Now this is fun! Get the vaccine or die!
Buy the Vaccinate Me Elmo doll today. It's required by the CDC.
Sadly, the actual children's programming is much funnier because it's so insane. ABC World News Tonight.
Vaccinations of 5 to 11-year-olds this week ramping up at pharmacies and across New York City, pop-up clinics at public schools.
This is basically the best feeling of triumph I've had in, years.
Over the weekend, even Big Bird announcing he got the vaccine, tweeting, "My wing is feeling a little sore, but it'll give my body an extra protective boost that keeps me and others healthy." Big Bird drawing praise from the president, but backlash from Senator Ted Cruz tweeting, "Government propaganda for your 5-year-old."
Yeah, no, I love using imaginary characters to convince children all will be well. But what's even worse is what NPR was doing. NPR had a whole show dedicated to the children. It's have you ever heard of the podcast Brains On?
And why would I?
Yeah. I was just checking.
You're listening to Brains On, where we're serious about being curious.
Brains On is supported in part by a grant from the National Science Foundation.
Come on, kids.
What up, Boom Booms? I'm Kara.
And I'm Gilly. We are two adorable viruses with sick dance moves.
And infectious laughter.
That's right. This is Going Viral with Kara and Gilly.
Would you like to hear any more of this podcast?
Actually, I would.
I thought you would.
Just like the COVID vaccines for adults, the vaccine for kids has been tested in thousands of volunteers.
Thousands! And fact check false. It's literally 2,000. Okay, thousands, but they removed 1,300 of them.
The dose for the vaccine that's been approved for kids is smaller than the dose for adults.
The shot that's been approved for kids in the U.S. is an mRNA vaccine.
Ooh.
Scientists have been studying mRNA vaccines for years. Let's revisit how they work.
Here's how they work, John.
The M in mRNA stands for messenger. mRNA is a messenger molecule that tells your cells what to do. So the vaccine contains a teeny bit of this messenger code, and this code says, make a tiny protein.
Do you really want to hear more of this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And once the protein is made, this code gets destroyed, like a secret spy message or something. These mRNA vaccines tell your body to make a very specific protein, the protein that is on the coronavirus spikes. So your body makes this protein and your immune cells see it and are like, whoa, what is this protein doing here? Tag and destroy. Then your immune cells create antibodies against this protein and destroy it. Now, if you get infected by an actual coronavirus, your body will recognize that tiny protein
and do
say,
nothing.
Hey, we remember you. Get out of here.
If you weren't vaccinated, your body wouldn't be trained, so it wouldn't be ready to fight the coronavirus right away.
And in the time it takes your body to realize you're infected, you get sick.
That's why vaccines are awesome. They train our bodies to fight germs so that when we do meet them, we're ready to destroy them.
I have more if you want.
A little more.
Okay.
So what's in these vaccines and how do scientists make them?
Ooh, this is the money shot.
Brains On producer Menaka Wilhelm is here to show us.
Yeah. And let's start by zooming in on a vial of the vaccine.
Yeah.
Is the zoom ray ready?
Yeah.
We got it all warmed up.
Yay, I love going miniature.
It always makes my tummy a little wobbly.
So you can see this vial is full of liquid, and in the liquid is itty-bitty vaccine mRNA.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I thought you would be done. I was finger on the button waiting for it. Yeah.
So let's, just because a good transition, just look, I have 3 clips that I want to play. This one follows that perfectly. This is the guy Malone, who's one of the doctors who has been completely banned from everywhere.
Yes, Robert Malone.
Robert Malone. And if you read the fact checks on him and everything, they hate him. This guy's just
you have also said he was full of crap in a previous episode on one issue.
I think I will say this. I think he is full of crap in some ways. But when he gave a lecture to a bunch of doctors in Florida who were applauding everything he said. And
isn't he one of the inventors of mRNA, of the process?
This is a myth. He likes to sound like he kind of is, but he was one of the guys who contributed to the research that went into the invention.
Oh, because what I read is he just stumbled across something, then took it to his other colleagues or students. I think he was still in college, and said, "Look what I got." And then from there, it was developed. It was more like a discovery and not an invention.
I think his discovery was in parallel to me.
Okay. All right.
It's beside the point. When he gave this lecture, I have to say he's very good. I like to see him debating somebody that thinks he's full of crap, which would include me. But here he is on the spike protein. This is Malone on spike protein, and this follows that clip perfectly. But what's really going on here.
We know from multiple studies that they're directly cytotoxic. I'm sure there's many other activities associated with spike that are unknown. The native spike also manipulates the NF-kappa B pathway and upregulates COX-2, the pro-inflammatory protein that produces prostaglandins, etc. Okay, Okay, so this sets off, a spike is involved in setting off the whole inflammatory cascade, but it does a lot more. But when we see the amount that is produced in that Harvard and Brigham women's nurses study, when you calculate those levels, to my eye, as a gene therapy specialist who was involved in development of this technology, I was blown away. I never anticipated any system that would produce this level of protein using non-viral delivery. This is truly a big hammer in the gene therapy world. It is an amazing amount of protein, but like I like to say, you give a 3-year-old a hammer, everything becomes a nail. The problem, I don't think, is the technology. The problem is the payload. It's what's being expressed. And they went forward with intact spike protein. And they didn't realize at the time they did it that the intact spike protein had these biologic activities and toxicities.
Okay, even I kind of understand what he's saying now.
Yeah, and he points out, and he has diagrams, and he shows the one part of the spike protein, which is really the mechanism that if they just manufactured that within the mRNA system, that would have done the trick and not created all these toxic spike proteins, which is what's going on with the current vaccine.
What did you said if they had created the spike protein, but they
had a small element. There's a little nub on the spike protein itself.
Okay. Right, but they created the spikes.
The whole spike to make it easy. Make it easier.
Well, it's a shortcut. You know, we were in a rush. It was warp speed.
And so there was that element. I have 2 more clips by him if you want to hear.
Yeah, sure.
If you want to stay in that mode.
Yeah, might as well.
Here's his commentary on immune complexes that are created by people who. The main part of his lecture was that kids should not get vaccinated and that anyone who's had COVID should not get vaccinated. And the main thrust was that latter aspect, which is that if you've had COVID, you shouldn't take this vaccine. And this is one of the reasons why this clip.
Now, I want to share a little insight that I hadn't thought of from Patrick Whalen of UCLA. Basically, in this last bullet point, what he's warning about is the development of circulating immune complexes. And I think he's got a point. I think that there's a reasonable chance that when you have natural immunity, you have high levels of circulating antibodies, and then as Dr. Jill Glasspool-Malone first taught me, what happens with the vaccination is you're loading your patients with a bolus of protein. It's not the same as a viral infection. With a viral infection, you're getting a gradual increase of these proteins in your body, in your patient's bodies. With the vaccine, you're giving a bolus, and it is a whopping good amount of protein that's being expressed. And it's being cleaved off of the surface, and it's going into the circulation, and it's encountering circulating antibodies. And what happens when you do that? You form immune complexes. What do immune complexes do? All kinds of stuff, that arthralgia, joint problems, muscle problems, cardiovascular problems, kidney problems, lung problems, etc., etc., etc. You know, your physicians, immune complex disease equals bad. And I think Jill has got it right. The vaccination is not the same as natural infection in terms of the kinetics of protein expression. And when you give a bolus of protein into somebody's body, when they already have higher levels of circulating antibodies, you will be generating immune complexes. I think Dr. Whalen is correct on this. Okay?
Now, I did notice he does this K thing a lot.
Yeah, don't like that.
And it bugs me so much that in the next and last clip, where he talks about natural immunity, he does it every time he does it. I make it clear that he's doing this with my sweetening of the clip.
Okay.
Couple key points that I wanted to highlight for you. Okay. As we know, there are multiple studies, over 100, that demonstrate that natural immunity is superior both in breadth, in durability, and effectiveness in protecting against disease and death. Full stop. Okay. Okay? Whatever the CDC happens to say in that cooked up, contrived study, and if you haven't looked at the Brownstone Institute's analysis of that study in comparison to some of the other studies, I recommend that you do. Okay. The study that the CDC put out is highly flawed and not peer-reviewed. And there's over 100 other studies that refute it, even though the press has latched onto it and they're pushing it into everybody's mind. That's propaganda. I don't know how I could say stronger language, but it is not a valid study. Multiple studies, and here I give you some examples, have demonstrated that people with a history of SARS-CoV-2 infection experienced greater rates of side effect after vaccination. This is super important for your patients. And I can tell you from first-person experience. I was infected in February of 2020. I took the Moderna jabs because I wanted to travel and I thought it would help me with my long COVID. What I had was severe adverse reactions. My systolic went up to 230. Okay. I developed restless leg syndrome. The good news is I've survived the stress test, and I didn't blow out either my aorta or vessels in my brain. But your older patients may not be so fortunate. Okay. The data are quite clear. Vaccinating after natural immunity has been generated yields many more side effects, the prevalence and the severity, than vaccinating the naive individual.
Okay.
So he makes it, this is his theme. So and it's very convincing. And when you see all his charts and graphs, and he has his real citations, and then that little incident in the middle where he says the media has picked up on, what is wrong with the media that they have no sense of this?
Oh, because they're captured. They have nowhere to go. Mea culpa is very annoying to me. I played a clip. New South Wales, 141 people in the hospital. Of those, only one was unvaccinated. I made a mistake, and I should have known better, because whenever I get a clip that ends and I don't have the full context, that's when it's risky. The worst part is I had done this before, like 10 shows ago, back in July, so I'm very annoyed with myself.
I'd be more annoyed with the person sending you the clip.
And the reason I'm annoyed is because it is actually happening all over the world, but there's very hard to get an English clip. The Netherlands, now the hospitals.
You're not explaining what this clip is and what the mistake was.
I said exactly that. He said 140 people in the hospital, only one is unvaxxed. What part didn't I explain?
Yeah, but that wasn't your mistake. He's the one who said it.
Yeah, I said, and yes, that's what I said. And it turned out that was not true. It was exactly the opposite, but I didn't have the clip in context.
Yeah, this was a clip that you played.
Yes. But
two shows ago?
Yeah, neither of us caught it that we were doing it in. No, it was 10 shows ago. Now, it was in July. So, we do 6-7 hours a week. Sometimes something happens. But the reason why is because I'm seeing the Netherlands on mainstream television, doctors, and it's just being broadcast saying, no, it's the majority of people are vaccinated. Belgium, almost 99% of all people in intensive care, all vaccinated. Germany is now weighing new restrictions amid record cases of the vaccinated. And this is now spreading to the Netherlands, so that there's going to be another press conference tomorrow. My daughter is beside herself. She cannot do anything now. She can barely breathe air because of the stupid restrictions. And in Germany, in some provinces, they're not even reporting the number of vaccinated people in the hospital because, quote, it gives too much fuel for conspiracy theories. That's rather rich. At the same time, German newspapers are showing, because I'm sure you saw the clip, and I would love to have said, oh, this is completely true, of all the soccer players, tennis players, all these athletes falling down on the field.
Dropping dead.
I don't know if they're dead. Not if they're dead, but they're dropping down.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
A German newspaper highlights unusually large number of soccer players who have collapsed recently. They got a list of about 20.
I went through, I was going to be in the last newsletter, but then it was Veterans Day, so I didn't think it was appropriate. But it'll be the next newsletter or the one after. So I went through and I went to Twitter and I put vaccine death or COVID vaccine deaths or instant deaths. I'm just a bunch of keywords. And I picked up all these images of all these people dropping dead and all these different, and it's like Mimi was bitching at me for not covering it on the show. She said, all the weightlifters, the bodybuilders that are dying left and right.
But see, this is and I'm just careful because you see something on Instagram or TikTok and it's a weightlifter dropping. You don't know if that was 10 years ago. I mean, that you would probably know by video quality, but we don't know. So I have to wait for the mainstream to report it because we get burned all the time. I'm really careful about this, but I agree with you. It seems like it's truly happening. I only know of 2, but you look at this German report, we're talking 20. So, but, you really won't see. In the United States, we're not going to see this. All we do here is we ratchet it up, get ready, we got the surge coming. In fact, what is this? World Health Organization urges U.S. to pay attention as surging COVID cases flood Europe's hospitals again. And they don't mention that these are vaccinated people, but yeah, the surge is back.
Big number today. Seems like a small number, but it's a big deal. The number is 10. That's how many states, at least 10 states, are seeing persistent rise in COVID-19 hospitalizations as temperatures drop. These are mostly in the West, Midwest, and New England, these states. Is this something we can assume we will see as the temperatures drop, possibly an uptick?
That's certainly what a lot of infectious disease specialists
hold
are
on,
saying.
stop it. Mm-hmm. You're going to probably notice the same thing I notice. COVID is not a winter disease.
Thank you.
And it never has been, and they made a big point of that back in
summer,
January, February of 2020, and then when it started catching hold in the spring, it was a spring disease. It was a warm weather disease.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think they're lying. This is really happening, but they're omitting the fact that these are vaccinated people.
As the temperatures drop, possibly an uptick?
That's certainly what a lot of infectious disease specialists are saying, but
really?
It's going to be occurring in a patchwork fashion. It's not going to be the whole country at the same time.
No, it's going to be blue states first this time. Watch, it's going to be the blue states. In Australia, they have their own version of the surge.
A man shot dead in West Auckland tested positive for COVID-19 after his death last week. 3 people have been jointly charged with the murder of Robert James Hart in a Newland driveway. Jean Bell reports.
The police have confirmed Robert Hart is the same person added to the Ministry of Health's COVID-19 death total today.
They're still doing that. You're dead, test COVID, you're good. Add them to the list, boys. Rocking and rolling. If this is true, what we're seeing, that these vaccinated, these cases in the hospital are people who have been vaccinated, it's about to get really super ugly with children. It's like, geez, I mean, how obvious can this be? Oh, I don't know. Let's see if some sick fuck is all into it, like Bill Gates.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
I mean, first of all, you're supposed to shoot it into the muscle.
Yeah, the vein is what you don't want to shoot it into.
I think this was when Belinda decided to leave him, because they're both sitting on this couch and she looks at him in horror when especially that last thing, just like, yeah, shoot it right into the veins.
In little kids' arms, we just shoot them right into the vein.
Little kids. I mean, how sick does he sound there? A sick guy. Yeah, just sick. So we're just shooting it into little kids' arms. We'll see. I think it's, unfortunately, we may see a lot of cases amongst kids. Meanwhile, we have Big Pharma pushing back against, people like us.
Us? What are we doing? All we're doing is reading the news.
Oh, no. No,
no.
I can. Are you kidding me? No. They have a campaign. The campaign, well, I don't know which one I should do first. So the campaign, you may have seen this. It was a real, it backfired horribly. Pfizer sent out a tweet, and the tweet says, "It's easy to get distracted by misinformation these days. Don't worry, science has got your back." And they have this drawing of a little like puppet person, and there's a caption, "The human brain," and then a big yellow circle called "Wild Conspiracy Theories," and this person is gravitating towards it. And then in the second, where science has your back, there's this pink blob that is grabbing the person from behind, and that blob's name is science.
Oh, God.
And
wow.
And people are looking at this and going
I've not seen this.
Oh, man, I put it in the show notes, but it's so wrong. And they even turned off the comments. They turned on Twitter. They turned off all the comments on Twitter. Wow, I'd never seen that, because people were just like, "Oh, okay, so I'm going to get sodomized by science? Is that what's going to happen?" You got to see it. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So this is part of a campaign. Remember, it's about conspiracy theories, and science has your back. And The Atlantic had a sit-down interview with Pfizer's CEO, Albert Bourla, and he continued with the marketing.
But there is a very small part of professionals which they circulate on purpose misinformation so that they will mislead those that they have concern. Those people are criminals. They're not bad people. They're criminals because they literally costed millions of lives.
We're criminals, John. Literally criminals. You heard him say it. Probably the most powerful man in the world right now, the CEO of Pfizer. He can kill you.
I couldn't understand a word he said. His thick accent.
Oh, want me to translate?
Yeah.
Well.
But there is a very small part.
There's a very small part.
Of professionals.
Of professionals. That's you and I.
Which they circulate on purpose.
Which we circulate on purpose.
Misinformation.
Misinformation.
So that they will mislead.
We don't do that. Hold on a second.
So that they will mislead.
So that we mislead.
Those that they have concerned.
Those that we have concerned. I don't know what that means.
Those people are criminals.
Those people, you and me, are criminals.
They're not.
No, why do you keep saying that? We do not circulate misinformation.
I would think that the things we're saying would be classified as misinformation.
By
the Board of Misinformation.
We do not, and I don't think that you should say that we do.
No, of course we don't.
Distribute misinformation, because we don't. All we do, most of the time we're just playing clips like that guy.
All I'm saying is go on Twitter and post, "Ivermectin will save you," and we'll see how you're treated.
Well, you're not going to be treated well, because there's a I would say a conspiracy theory against ivermectin.
Well, that's my point.
And that's the misinformation side of the
My
picture.
point is, I don't care how you argue it, people who are against us, the people at PayPal and Twitter who hate me and you, they are the ones who are hearing this and think misinformation, that's those guys, they're criminals. I don't believe that myself. This is dangerous shit this guy is doing. That's the criminal. Hello?
Yeah. No, I'm trying to put together something to. I don't think that we get categorized in that same. We're not advocates. Take a look at the mission statement.
Let's check in with Ireland. Let's see how they're doing.
Pretty staggering 99.5% of all adults over the age of 18 here in Waterford are now fully vaccinated. That's the highest vaccination rate in Ireland and thought to be among the highest anywhere in the world. Woo! Despite this, County Waterford currently has the highest COVID infection rate in the country. So why?
Why?
What's happened is restrictions have eased. There's been a gradual...
Wait, let's play a little game. Okay, so they have one of the highest vaccination rates in perhaps all of the world, yet they also simultaneously...
It's way over 80, which should create herd immunity if it works.
Yes, and simultaneously they have 99% vaccinated people with They have the highest caseload. Why do you think this is? How will they explain this away? Any thoughts?
I'd be interested in hearing it.
What's happened as restrictions have eased is there's been a gradual increase in social activity, coupled with a decrease in people taking day-to-day mitigation behaviours, like keeping 2 meters from each other and wearing masks.
Science hasn't failed, according to, well, scientists. Immunologists say the vaccines were never meant to eliminate infections and are performing a vital role.
were never meant to stop the vaccines. They were never meant to stop infection. Come on, science. What's wrong with you, bro? Didn't you hear us say that? Man, this is. We just have to keep pointing this out because people, I guess, forget that this is exactly the opposite of what was being said. And so now the problem is because we're all vaccinated, but we're still not staying 2 meters apart and not wearing masks. And that's why this is happening. But yet the vaccine is great because it keeps you not from getting real sick. Well, who are all those people in the hospital then? The outliers, the breakthroughs? Let's go to the prison colony. COVID down under. Now we're in Queensland. Queensland actually was pretty lax. You could. I mean, they were tight on masks and bull crap, but they weren't quite as militaristic about it as Melbourne. And, now that's about to change because the mandates are going in. We got hard dates.
Oh, they're crazy not to get vaccinated. Life will be miserable without being vaccinated. You won't be able to get you won't be able to hide. You won't be able to get a doctor to sign off that you got an exclusion because there's quite set rules on that, and doctors will be audited to see every one of their exclusions will be looked at very carefully. They'll get fined. They can get struck off. The patients who tell lies can be charged with fraud. There's a whole pile of issues, whole pile of problems if you try and get around the system. It's going to be very hard to maintain your employment if you're not vaccinated. You won't be able to go anywhere for any entertainment. So by all means, get vaccinated. You've got another week where you can get double vaccinated before the 15th to 17th of December when it's definitely coming in. And there'll be proof that you've been vaccinated, firm proof. You'll be asked to show going into most venues. So get vaccinated, otherwise you're going to have a very, very lonely life and you're not going to be able to maintain your employment.
This is insane. You'll have a very Hey, you don't get vaccinated? Here's the deal. You'll have a very lonely life and you won't be able to be employed. Am I just accustomed to this craziness now that
well, you're apparently not I said it.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah.
You're apparently not accustomed to it because you still get all worked up.
How do you feel?
I feel that they're nuts. And it's bullcrap, by the way.
This is criminal. These people are criminal. But just to say that to your
underlying
citizens.
Structure of a society, sometimes under circumstances like this, comes to the fore. And during a kind of a crisis, whether created or real. And this is what's happening in Australia. They're going to take a lot of re-examining. It's like there was
one of our producers sent a note about this, and he said, because he's in Australia, and maybe this helps us understand. Due to our convict roots, none of our institutions have any concept of freedom such as the French in the United States understands it. We have something called parole. Any perception of freedom is conditional. We're still keeping an eye on you. I think that goes right in line with what you just said.
Yeah, it's a prison colony, and it's the underlying culture is coming to the fore. And they're going to have to come to grips with this and change things because they not only put up with it, they voted these people in.
Mm-hmm. And vote
You don't
them
have
again.
to vote people like the prime minister and these other doofuses from all these different provinces, or whatever they call them, states.
Yeah,
they don't have to vote those people in. There's better people, but they keep voting them in. They have a bunch of creeps that run that country.
Just on the mandates, Macron extends the booster shot. So now in France, for your pass sanitaire, for your health pass, you will need 3 shots if you're on the Moderna, Pfizer, BioNTech train. To which I say, what's your number, France? What's your number, people? 5 shots? 4, 5, 6, 7? I mean, how far are you going to go?
5 minimum.
I think 5, too, would be a good one. Care homes in England set to lose 50,000 staff as COVID vaccine becomes mandatory. Hey, old people, screw you. And here's my favorite. We've been waiting almost 2 years for it, but finally The Guardian was able to announce that someone's pet dog in the UK, we can confirm, is the first to contract COVID. Yeah. Yeah, baby. We're going to kill your dog. I've been waiting for it. And
well, let's go back to a little cultural issue here. The Brits are notorious for hating dogs.
Wait a minute. What evidence do you have? Well, yeah, okay.
There's a lot of people that have dogs, and they're international people, and they go to have places in England, they have places in France. The French love dogs to an extreme. You want to bring your little pooch
Fifi.
France to move to France?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Boom, you're right in. You want to go to England with your dog? You got to put the dog in a quarantine
6
for 2
months.
weeks.
6 months.
Or is it 6 months?
6 months.
I'm not even keeping up.
It was always 6 months.
Okay, well, 6 months. This shows that they hate dogs. They don't want dogs. They're dog haters.
Well, yeah, okay. So you made your point, the dog haters.
So they're going to try to pin COVID on dogs so they can kill the dogs.
British Columbia is closing all mink farms. This is everything we said, because these animals...
You learn something every day. I didn't know they had minks in British Columbia.
Get this vaccine stuff away from me. You know, if you took the vaccine and accepted it into your life, and you're still here, I'm very happy. I really am. You were brave. You were brave. I don't have the guts anymore, even if they force me. But I know my daughter is flipping out, John. These kids, they can't go anywhere. Of course, the hospital's filling up now with vaccinated people who are getting sick, and they're just they're bringing the hammer down. And now she wants to come here. She has her passport, luckily, but she still has to have a test, and she will get called to get tested again after she arrives, American citizen. But her boyfriend, not vaccinated, can't come to America. And that's the new policy.
The U.S. has reopened its borders to foreign nationals for the first time in 19 months. Beginning today, fully vaccinated international travelers will be allowed into the country. Many of them haven't been able to see their family members since the start of the pandemic. Land borders with Canada and Mexico are now open as well.
Man, we got to stop this stuff. This has to stop. I don't think our people...
We can't stop it. You just have to let it go.
Well, it's not. They're not letting it.
It's a little late to stop it.
They're not letting it go. Nothing is going to slow down at all. I think we talked about this on the last show. Jennifer Granholm, who's the energy secretary of
she's
energy.
A miserable governor of Michigan, and now she's a miserable secretary of energy.
And she is abusing this so-called crisis to cover up the real issue with supply chains.
And so the question is, as we move out of COVID, we know that has been creating these supply chain bottlenecks, and that includes in the school sector as well. And so the Energy Information Agency, which is in the Department of Energy, has its forecast for the winter coming up in 2 days, and we'll be looking to see what the prices
Winter's coming up in 2 days, huh?
Know that all of the economists that the president has been relying on suggest that there is a transitory nature to the inflation problem as we move through the pandemic, and we want to make sure that we get everybody vaccinated so that we can unclog the bottlenecks that we've been seeing.
I mean, and no pushback from Stephanopoulos, nothing. Okay, well, that's great. We need everybody vaccinated. That's what we need. Yeah.
That'll stop inflation.
It will. I'm ready to transition to climate change since we had the COP26 ending. If you are, unless you have some more COVID stuff you want to run through.
No, I had my COVID, I had my Malone stuff, and that was about it.
All right. Let me see. What did I have here? Yes. All right. So we had the big COP26 climate change. A lot of people coming back on the scene. A lot of people talking. A lot of people saying, "Hey, we got to do stuff." Yes, the marketing is going to start.
Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. And I hate to stop you while you're on the roll, but I do have the one thing I want to play, which is a COVID clip.
Oh, that's okay. You caught me just in time.
This is the Oroville quits the mandates. This has got everybody bent out of shape.
Who's Oroville?
Oroville is a big town in California. It's over where Brunetti is.
Oh.
The city of Oroville is getting national attention tonight for announcing that they will not follow controversial orders issued by the governor or the president. The fight stems from a number of federal and state pandemic protection mandates, and tonight we're getting answers on why city leaders are taking this step.
Oroville city leaders are launching a resolution revolution.
Motion carries.
In a 6-1 vote, the city council declared Oroville a constitutional republic city.
This mandate is not saying we're against laws or for anarchy.
Vice Mayor Scott Thompson saying it's the city's effort to send a strong message to federal and state leaders.
I think it's time for us to draw a line in the sand and say enough is enough.
The resolution resolves to not enforce, quote, any executive orders issued by the state of California or by the United States federal government that are overreaching or clearly violate our constitutionally protected rights. The move comes amid the controversy over closing businesses during the pandemic, along with mask and vaccine mandates.
We're not talking about one mandate that's been pushed on us recently. It's a barrage of mandates.
This is disgusting. It makes me mad.
Eliza West is among the residents who oppose the resolution.
I think that we all believe in applying the law and agreeing and following the law, and this is just ridiculous.
So does Oroville have the right to disregard state and federal orders?
Ultimately, this would be determined by a court.
UC Davis law professor Lisa Pruitt says the resolution may not have any binding legal authority.
The strong presumption would be that the city of Oroville does not have the power to do this. I see this as primarily a gesture.
A constitutional conflict with these city leaders fighting for more local control.
It makes a statement that says, enough's enough. We're done. We're tired.
Oh, man. This can't get to the Supreme Court fast enough. Let's just do it already. What are they waiting for? Is the court waiting? Has no one brought the suit yet? Do you know how this works? I've never really understood.
Yeah, I know how it works.
That.
You got to get first. It's got to go to the appeals courts, and then it's got to be challenged, and then it's the appeals courts. You got to submit it to because they say, we can't deal with this. Supreme Court guys, would you like to take this and finish this off and end it? And the Supreme Court has to vote and say, no. And they can say no, and it just goes back to the other courts, and then they have to fight out amongst themselves. It's complicated. It's not a piece of cake to just go to the Supreme Court. Lawsuits have to occur.
They have to have okay. So we're at just kind of the beginning then, since we have one.
There are fast tracks you see when something's so critical that everybody understands it's important, and it gets rushed to the Supreme Court. But then it still takes 6 months to resolve.
I'm glad that we dove so deeply into the Jacobson case from, I think it was 1905, which is still used even by Dershowitz, and I disagree with him, to say, oh, yeah, no, definitely, the government has the right to jam the needle in your arm. They can make you do anything. And that is not what that case says. So in case that I'm sure will come up again, what the case said was they can mandate it, but the only thing that happened to the guy who lost this case was he was fined. They were not allowed to jab a needle into his vein, Bill Gates. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Because he's not a little kid, can't resist.
Yeah, it's not interesting. So back before that, I played the clip of Granholm. So we've got issues with our energy. We didn't have them before until the Biden administration came in, made a lot of green. Yes,
gas price California $5.50.
Made a lot of Green New Deal noise, which scared all investment. Meanwhile, the environmental social governance has stopped investment into the actual oil firms. So there's all kinds of issues at play, and how could we possibly make it worse?
As gas prices soar, President Biden is considering tapping into the nation's strategic petroleum reserve. That's according to Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. Now, she's not ruling out the possibility that prices for gas could hit $4 per gallon. The national average right now is $3.42. Now, she's also warning about home heating costs, saying oil and gas companies are not meeting demand. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is reportedly considering shutting down a fuel pipeline in Michigan amid environmental concerns.
I mean, this is on purpose. I just have to call it out. This is on purpose. They are purposefully driving up the price for us, for the American citizens, by doing this. Even just talking about it is enough. Geez, don't these people know how it works? No, they don't. Why am I even saying that?
I disagree. Okay. I think your initial assertion, they're doing this on purpose, and they do know how it works, and that's what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. What you didn't go into, and what we might both want to discuss, is why.
Okay. This is
global warming. This proves global. Just to get cars off the road to push electricity. I mean, none of it's cheaper.
No. I mean, I think it's very obvious why. Why is we need to make fossil fuels as unattractive as possible, with some pipe dream that the industry will pony up trillions of dollars to create magical, better batteries, solar cells, and wind power, and put in complete DC grids throughout the entire country to move that all over the place. They believe that they can transform our entire energy life from fossil fuel to what they call renewables. And I think they're serious about it, because even France has now said that, we're going to start building some new nuclear reactors to meet the climate goals. Rolls-Royce got funding to develop mini nuclear reactors. At this point, I'm thinking the smart money is saying, all right, this is great. These guys are going to fail so spectacularly. Let's make sure we've got the nuclear plants ready when everything is offline. Gates is also invested in nuclear. That's not going to happen
in this country ever.
No, but France has a culture of it.
Yeah, but I've got it. You've got the lecture too. The France situation, which I thought they were going to start taking them offline because of Germany. So what happened there?
This is a switch. They reversed course. But the Germans haven't. The Germans are doubling down, closing the last nuclear plant next year.
The Germans are idiots.
Now,
they are.
So let's talk to the true person who was the first person I met who in fact introduced me to Al Gore. This is the person who was going to start growing vaccines in eggs, not in eggs, but alternatives to eggs. It may have been early mRNA research. I think tobacco plants. It was a whole green investment fund that was set up with Albert Gore and Kleiner Perkins. And I don't know what happened to the fund.
Kleiner Perkins, I might add.
And John Doerr, somehow I got a little clip here of John Doerr. Do we need to say anything about John Doerr other than we both know him?
John Doerr was the
DOERR for anyone who's wondering.
DOERR, you can look him up. A very intense person. Although I saw him one time when he wasn't intense, it was weird. I was at the TWA terminal in St. Louis when TWA used to fly across the country and you had to stop. And Doerr was there because he's apparently from the area with his family.
Oh.
Dad and everybody. He's the happiest looking guy ever. Just so unlike. Barely. Why are you smiling? So he is a very dour person who came out of Intel and was a technologist of the highest order and somehow got wangled into Democrat politics and green stuff as opposed to chips, which is his real specialty, and high tech. And that's all you need to know.
Right. He was Kleiner Perkins was investor in Podshow. Got to know Doerr pretty well. I just thought he was the one that invited me to the dinner where I met Al, and another dinner I met Robert Kennedy. So I'm grateful for many things, but dude.
Al Gore is evangelical and inspirational.
Do I need to play anymore? Just love this guy.
Al Gore is evangelical and inspirational and motivational on this crisis. I often think what would have happened if the Supreme Court had not ruled 5-4 in a decision that was fenced off to not establish a precedent, that we continue counting the votes in Florida in 2000. Don't let anybody ever tell you that your vote doesn't count. 537 votes, I think, was the margin of votes in that county. And we'd have been 2 decades ahead and have only to reduce our emissions by
we'd be
20%
living in caves
instead of the 55% that we've got to achieve now to avert catastrophic and irreversible climate crisis.
Catastrophic!
He recruited me to the cause. I talk to Al every week now for a half an hour.
Phone sex.
Advance my thinking and education and action with him on Mary and Greta and the agenda of all the other young people on this planet. You know, Mary's right. My generation created this problem, and we're not going to fix it. Together with Mary and Greta and Al, maybe we can.
Mary and Greta? I don't know who Mary is. Mary.
Who the hell's Mary?
I don't know. I didn't get the context of who the hell Mary is.
Mary? Come on, troll room. Tell us who Mary is.
So all of this fits together with with kind of the transition. We're going to transition from COVID into climate change. And there's a number of reasons for that. But the supply chain is a part of it. So it looks like food is an issue in anywhere but California. Of course, California has it all. Why? You guys are holding it all. You're welching on us. Welching on us, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. I told you this before, but my wife is in Washington right now, and she's bitching and moaning that the Christmas decorations is you can't get anything in Costco. The shelves are all empty. And so I went to Costco, and I took pictures, and everything looks normal. It's stacked to the roof with stuff. You know,
right. So we can agree that that's in California, and everywhere else we're seeing issues.
It's what it seems like.
Yeah.
I can't prove it.
No, I can, because I'm seeing it here. Not in Hill Country, but in Austin itself. There's plenty of reports. You can see it all over the place. And it's weird things. It's not essentials yet. So I had a chat with Texas Slim. He is the guy who set up the Texas Beef Initiative, and what he's doing is he is creating a parallel system between ranchers, processors, meat processors that are typically no longer USDA, not working with the USDA, which Texas is one of the few states where you don't have to have the federal government approve your processor. I didn't know that. There's only a few states where you can do that, and you can go direct from the ranch to the processor, direct to the consumer or to retail. And so he's setting up this network, and he's doing that with an app and with Bitcoin, and it seems like he's getting pretty successful because everyone sees the lack of fees, and they kind of like the idea of doing something outside of the traditional system. But his knowledge was what I was surprised, because I didn't expect to get all the type of stuff I got from him, and a new target for us to focus on. Some background: born and raised up north in the Panhandle, and he moved to Austin. He's 40 now, and he moved to Austin when he was 19, and he was living on the West Campus of UT, and he was just kind of he wound up following he called himself the cowboy hippie punk. He would just follow his buddies into class, and he wound up taking in effect a 4-year college degree course in information technology at UT for free. He just went to the classes.
Well, you could do that in most colleges. Yeah. It's called auditing.
Well, it wasn't official, so it could have been auditing.
It's pretty casual.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you could go to UT right now.
Yeah.
And just going into different. You can just go in and sit in the class. It's no big deal. Or
for 4 years.
You could do it for 10 years if you want. I'm sure there's somebody at Berkeley right now that's been doing nothing but.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you can do that. You can. It's just allowed.
So he then went into. He didn't go into farming, although his land, the land of his family's land goes back to the Dust Bowl. His grandfather lived through it, and so he went into information technology and started working at a number of companies in Austin, startup companies, but a lot of intelligence companies, telco, etc. I think along the lines of, he mentioned kind of like Edward Snowden type stuff. And I don't know anything about him other than what he says, but I'll take it for true. And what he learned in combination with his farming expertise and background, particularly when it comes to genetically modified seeds and how farmers are being put under pressure by the seed companies and pharmaceutical agricultural companies to use modified seeds, and also, of course, herbicide, and how they're a lot of these farmers just captured. They are part of the big machine of big agriculture. And what he's worried about is having an understanding of surveillance, of collecting data on people. Of course, we know what Facebook and Twitter and Google and Microsoft and Apple, they've got tons and tons of data. He feels that that's really just one side of the equation, as now big agriculture is moving into, or as effectively is already in the data business. And I had just read an example, which I then told him about, which is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban's on the board of some climate foundation, together with the founder of Chainlink, which is a public company, a blockchain company. And what they're doing is, or what they're talking about doing is, on a dairy farm, the farmer will no longer self-report emissions. The farm will have sensors in the ground that relay this data to the blockchain. And so then that will be used to, I'm reading directly from what they're doing, input into smart contracts that have been struck to release funds or tax incentives for the farm for meeting the emission standards. I'm like, oh, that's pretty advanced. And he said, oh, no, it goes much further than that.
I was looking at something before I got onto this cast, and they're basically saying, with full automation, you can take the manual work out of the dairy cow. And so basically that dairy cow is set up to a system that is creating real-time data with the flow, with basically the health of the cow, the blood pressure of the cow, the quality of the milk and everything, basically putting an Apple Watch on a cow. And by doing that, I mean, the digitization, that type of data that they're creating is talking to the satellites. It is reporting real time. What is that doing? Well, that's creating a whole new value set based on our food consumption, and how they can actually manipulate that dairy from that cow is going to be phenomenally corrupt in ways that will control us. And, even I don't understand yet, but I'm getting there.
Could you give me an example of how that would work?
Let's talk about quality, and value of quality. And they'll be able to frame you in ways, predictive analysis. Well, you don't mind drinking shit milk, so we're going to feed you shit milk. It's basically called an evidence-based intervention system that they do with real-time data. They're basically preempting having to fix you with knowing the boundaries of you being okay and functional, but less of yourself, but not more than they want you to be.
So the idea is to streamline your food, I think the way it sounds, so that you don't quite die, but you can still be a good worker when you need to be one. And this really started accelerating in 2017.
Well, you look at that. You had the medical, pharmaceutical, agricultural complex right now. They're not different anymore. They are so intertwined by this point. It's not far out. And they've been working on this for a while. You've heard me say that. Yeah. I go back 12 years. I'm not going to go back any further than that, basically, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter when it started. It started. And so all the combination of basically, especially in the seed industry, all the different type of partnerships that were created back then. You had, the combinations of so much in basically like Warren Buffett, major food industries combining. And then you had 2017.
All right, let's talk about it.
Well, you had Bayer and Monsanto.
Right.
They became
the merger. Mm-hmm.
The merger. You had Dow and DuPont. You had Kim China and Syngenta. You look at that, and every one of them basically happened right around, the meat happened basically in 2017. So you had some of the biggest players in the world all combine at that time.
So he sees a world where big agriculture is now planning to pretty much just produce food out of other things than the actual food we're used to eating, hence his idea to go organic and create networks to bring that to people. And, throughout a conversation like this, which it's like an hour and a half with AdamCurry.com, I'll put it in the show notes if you want to listen to the whole thing. When it's like they want, I finally called them. I said, who is they? Who is the they that want to create this bogative food based upon barely keeping us alive and or killing us at the flick of a wrist, whichever they want to do? Who are the they, really?
I see it as people like the WEF, of course. Mm-hmm. I see it with the IMF. I see it with the central banks, of course, the Fed. People talk Bill Gates. You just brought up Cuban. Bill Gates is really the distraction here. He's a billionaire distraction, of course, and he does have an effect. He has an effect on people's spirit in a lot of ways that people don't realize, as far as, everybody's focusing on all the shitty stuff that he does. Mm-hmm. But, he's really answering to a bigger play. And that's why I always talk about the source of the seed. And it's dangerous for me to talk about Monsanto and Cargill. That's who I focus on, because they started in the United States of America. Cargill family goes back a long time. Let's put it that way. You can't reach the Cargill family. They're not out in public. They do that by design. Cargill has a intelligence structure that mirrors the CIA. They have 7,000 people on the ground at any one time. Whoa. So you want to talk about somebody that doesn't want you to know who they are, and you say, who is they? Well, it's those guys that really don't want you to know who the hell they are. They want you to know Bill Gates, and that's by design. Why do they need our attention? They don't need us.
Gotcha.
They don't need Oprah. Bill Gates is put on Oprah in 60 Minutes so he can be the distraction. Cargill, just look at their family. How far do they go back? They go back to the monarchies. They go back so far that it's even hard to trace. And so how much do they control? Who controls our seed? And, who truly controls the source of our seed, controls the source of everything that we are. And they've done that even before America was America. And so why would they ever give up the control of that seed? Why would they not manipulate that seed in a way that will control us in ways that we don't understand?
So this is my new favorite hobby, is looking at Cargill. I had no idea about this company.
Why don't you call Mimi?
Oh, my goodness. And these guys, the Cargill family, they are unbelievable. There's just story after story about how horrible they are, and they're in everything. There's not a single – you go into the supermarket, you won't see the name Cargill, but it's in every single product. If it's processed, if it's emulsified, any of it, it's all Cargill. I had no idea. And as I'm reading through the Cargill website, it pops up stuff like this. Reducing the strain raising animals has on our climate is also a priority. Cargill and Zelp are joining forces to distribute wearable technology to catch cows' burps. The innovation can potentially reduce livestock methane emissions by up to 53%. So it's real. They're really connecting all of this stuff. Here's a little bit of background on Cargill. Today, they have, and this is from data from 2018, 155,000 people in 70 countries. It has its own fleet of 570 ships moving 200 million tons of commodities. And it says right here, this is from Greenpeace, Cargill's political and economic intelligence on food and agriculture has even been said to exceed that of the CIA. And, this is privately held. They've got about 100 family members, but the top ones are all multi-billionaires. And you don't even know their names. You don't need anything. But the bottom line is a vast proportion of the world's main agricultural commodities pass through the hands of just 4 international trading companies. Cargill is one. If it's sweetened, preserved, emulsified, milled, or imbued with additives, it's Cargill. And so I put some more stories about Cargill if people are interested. But as I'm reading through this, I see the term farm to fork. And this triggered me because I had just been reading the European Green New Deal, or the Green Deal, I should say, which is my buddy Frans Timmermans, is literally called farm to fork. This is the Rockefeller idea of completely controlling food, 100% genetically modified, tracking it from farm to your face is the way I'd say it, farm to fork. And as I dove into stuff and start looking for things, oh my goodness, this is Rice University.
we've been able to make graphene on many different substrates. Previously, we could only make graphene on materials that were like polyimide, a particular type of polymer. But now what we found is by tuning the laser a little bit differently and defocusing the laser, which first carbonizes the material, and then we take the carbonized material and convert it into graphene. So what you see here is you don't see ink. This is not ink. This is not the addition of ink to a material. This is taking the material itself, the wood itself, and converting it into graphene. And the laser allows us to write it into any pattern that we wish. This is on a piece of wood, or we can do it even on foods, like this is a potato. So remember what graphene is. It's these single atomic thick sheets of graphite, and now we take these and we put a few of them on top of each other as we convert the material itself. Now, why would we want to have something like this? This is all conductive, and so it can conduct electricity. So what we can do now is we can make electronics embedded within fabrics. So can you even have electronics embedded on food and then say use this as a heat circuit to heat the food more easily? If there's, say, an RFID tag written onto this potato, where has it been? How long has it been stored? What's its country of origin and its city of origin? And what path did it go to get to your table? All that can be embedded not on a separate tag that's placed on the food, but directly on the food itself. And these can also have sensors that would detect E. coli, sensors that would detect microorganisms that you might not want. They could immediately light up and give you a signal that you don't want to eat this.
I love that. Printing an RFID tag on your food.
Theremin.
No, this is real. They did it. This is from 2018. It's being done now. No theremin. No theremin. No.
Theremin.
Okay, fine. No theremin, and you have a theremin. Why it's not hooked up and you play your own theremin?
I don't want to be reminded. Now, Cargill, again, Mimi has been harping on this for decades.
Good. So I've
mentioned Cargill every so often on the show, and you haven't really perked up. But there's a couple of things. Your buddy there, Cargill started, I think, around the Civil War, so it's not pre-American.
No, the family. The family is. It's on the Wikipedia, so you know it's true.
The company started around the 1870s.
Yeah, he didn't say the company started. He said the family goes back.
Oh, family. Well, my family goes back before America too.
All
but
right, move on.
Okay. What's the point of this idea?
What's the point?
I think the point was just to make a lot of money, and they're doing a pretty good job of it.
No, the point. No, I disagree. I believe the point. I'll give you theremin. All right, here's your theremin.
I'll give you
theremin because I was waiting for you to be like this. I'll give you theremin. I'm going to take it all the way. This is 100% about control of the people, controlling them through food, managing how many people there are through food, creating the food. It's not even food. Cargill is, they are now going to start prioritizing manufactured food from peas and soy and whatever else they have and protein stuff. And they're going to make it all look pretty, and they're going to prioritize that over real food. And that is, I think, and I'm going to agree with Slim, and you can theremin all you want, that is a part of controlling the population. And people have no idea what's in their food. You actually turned me on. We all know high fructose corn syrup. We want to stay away from that. You're the one that was like canola oil, that's just branding. It's rapeseed oil. And you're right, but it's not just rapeseed oil, it's modified rapeseed oil. And every restaurant uses it. Everyone's using this stuff, and it's not good for us. And we are the most obese country in the world, as far as I know. Slim says he connects it one step further, and I will play theremin after it's done, that the vaccine, he believes the vaccine was a part of this setup to get a data set on everybody who went through and got the vaccination. He'll be the first to say, because I called him on it, hey, they don't have their shit together. I don't know what you're talking about. He says, yeah, they're getting it together now, and now they have a new data set, and here's the clip.
They wanted to do it with younger generations as far as schooling, and basically whenever you're born, you get into the blockchain, you become a digital, identified person. So they said, well, we're going to kick it off with this virus and see what happens. And I don't know enough about the virus and how I'm not going to go there. What I do know is that they have the technology that they wanted to kind of experiment with the public. They've been doing it in the universities for a while. They're starting to do it with social programs, with like in the homeless, social impact studies. You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And so they're hitting it from many fronts. One of the most successful ones was basically the COVID. And so that's why they pushed it so hard. Yes, the pharmaceutical companies have turned it into a prescription. We always knew that was going to be the case. But one thing that is very valuable that you see that's about to come up is the new carbon credit economy. Well, we've got this data set slush, basically, fund, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it, but we have this data that the global basically population agreed to participate in. And so you have Australia that has their people that have become vaccinated.
Oh, they're locked down like dogs there.
Exactly. Well, that is being very incentivized, saying, hey, Australia, you're dependent upon us, so you're going to make this happen. Same with every country. Italy, you can look kind of at their debt ratios and their corporate involvement on the global fronts, and you can kind of track that down a little bit. Hey, who is already captured? Who is really telling everybody to piss off right now? Well, you look at a company or a country like Croatia, they're telling, the Western countries to piss off, saying we're not going to participate in this. And, why isn't China participating in it? Well, you know why China isn't.
Yeah,
look at what Russia's doing. Putin, he's being Putin, of course, but they're not participating in this scare tactic, this psyop that they've got going.
There it is. There it is. That's how they're going to create the value, because we'll know exactly what you're worth. We'll know exactly what's going into you. And they can commoditize that. They're creating value, which you can put in a spreadsheet and you can trade. And I think may not happen exactly the way he's saying it, but I think there's a lot of truth to it. That the transhumanist nature of these a-holes, it doesn't surprise me they want to do this.
Okay. Well, that was a good presentation. It was a little longer than I'd like, but I think you made your point. And you can follow Cargill. You're not going to get anywhere, by the way. I think it's a hopeless closed book. I don't know if they have 7,000 CIA agents, but it wouldn't surprise me.
You know what? I have plenty of time. So I don't think I'll just give up.
If you want to take that beat.
Oh, yeah.
Go for it. But you're going to find out nothing.
Well, what we're going to see, I believe, I have no proof, but we're hearing it everywhere. We're going to see food supply shortages. It will be blamed on COVID, of course, people not getting vaccinated. So more incentive. And we will see replacement. You remember the first lockdown, I went to the HEB and the only thing left was the shitty ass, I can't believe it's not meat. Everything was gone. But then a week later, that was gone too. So I don't put it past this organization, this Cargill and others like them to push that. Why would they not want to do this? They want to put health.
Why would they want to do it? It seems like a waste of their time.
Money, power, everything.
They're making so much money now.
There's always room for more money
power now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I've said it myself, which is like, well, once you start making a lot of money, you want to make more.
Yeah.
And
maybe they're so old and up high in the structure that they're the kind of people who are hey, we need less of these a-holes. Maybe they think we're useless eaters. If you have that mentality, you don't care what they're eating, and you'd be happy.
Well, if you're selling to the useless eaters, you want to
sell shit. You want to sell crap to them.
No, why would you want to do that? I don't believe anybody's that bad. Oh, they're buying our product. Let's ruin the product for them and feed them crap and see if they eat it. I mean, I know there are people that are I'm arguing against some of my own arguments. I realize
yes, you are. It's quite interesting.
But I'm not so cynical that I think that these guys are like that.
Oh, my goodness. Have you seen what's been going on in the world? Are you telling me that these pharmaceutical organizations are not cynical and will put crap into your arm? Is that not exactly the same?
Yeah, I'm. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think that they're not that. They're bad, but they're not that bad.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you're right. No, I got to go with that. Big pharma is much worse than big agriculture. Yeah, no, sure. They're feeding us crap now. They are terrorizing farmers with seed contracts. These people are horrible. This is not new. And now you're saying, oh, they won't go that far. They let thousands of Indian farmers commit suicide because they can't afford the seed, or some seed, fell into their farm and now they have to be on the bandwagon. Come on, these guys are bad. They're bad.
Well, the examples of the Indian farmers is a bad example. It's true. It's that they screwed those guys over, and they do suits over the seed pollen going over into somebody else's field. That's been done.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not going on much anymore. I think that's been minimized.
Okay.
And I wonder,
disagree.
how many bad actors there really are. I mean, there are bad actors in every business. There's no doubt about it. There's that creepy guy that was in front of Congress that had this.
You're just arguing just to be contrarian, because I think you believe half of what I'm saying, at least. How can you say that you don't?
Half of what you're saying.
How can you say you don't think these people would not? Dude, they have had so many people die. I mean, Cargill is responsible for so many deaths all over the world. Child labor. These guys are the pits. The pits. And then, don't worry. They don't want to feed you shit food. Yes, they do. They want to streamline it so that you get just the right amount of nutrients for the maximum amount we can pull out of your digital wallet. And then here's what's coming. Carbon food print. Wait for it.
Ooh, I like the term.
Mm-hmm. It's a real term.
I will be waiting for it, though.
It's a real term. It's a term from COP26. Your carbon food print will become very important. Yes, of course, because you can't have food. Yes, you can't have food that comes from too much carbon emissions. So burping, farting cows, you can't have this, you see? So we need to streamline you and give you some fake stuff, and maybe we'll not allow you to buy the real stuff this month because you've eaten too many horrible cow products. How can you not see this?
Because, I expected there attempts to be made to do stuff like that, largely driven by the vegans. It just all fails. It doesn't work. These guys are living in a dream world, and to be fearful of it, to be shaking in your boots about the carbon food print is just nothing I'm subscribing to. Okay. Sorry.
All right. No, good. You don't buy it. You don't subscribe to it. Check your food, man. Whatever you're eating, I'm sure it's super healthy. In fact, I'm sure you are healthy, and you are a healthy man because you cook a lot for, you don't eat crap in restaurants. That's not like 99% of the country. And they're eating shit, and this shit is from Cargill, and it's just getting worse. And Cargill knows it. They know what's in the products. And they've worked the system so it doesn't really have to be on the label. All right. I'm going to stay on this. I will check in with more reports. And I'll wrap it up with the latest report from the Ice Age farmer, again showing you what the idea is.
American farmers are having their land confiscated through the use of eminent domain. They will not be allowed to farm there going forward in order to make room for a massive carbon capture and sequestration pipeline. These pipelines, there are 2 such projects, run thousands of miles through the very heart of the Corn Belt, the nation's most productive farmland. There are letters going out now, like the one on your screen, by the thousands, announcing to surprised farmers that we will just be taking your land that you have owned in your family and worked, in some cases, for generations now. There are town hall meetings happening in counties across several states where, for example, Des Moines County engineer Brian Carter announces, quote, "I don't know for sure that there's a whole lot of say we have in this as a county. I'm just being told it's going to happen. Get off the farms, get out of the way, forget the food. We're building our zero carbon future. And it looks like massive pipelines to transport CO2 from ethanol plants so we can bury it underground." These announcements are particularly salient in light of the fact that even now there are warnings going out from major fertilizer CEOs saying we're going to have a food crisis next year. There's not going to be enough food to eat. And indeed, this is, quote, a life or death issue.
All right. Don't listen to me. Don't listen
to that guy. Now, I want you to put that clip.
Mm-hmm.
Can you mark it with something? Because I want to play it again 1 year from now when we're having these food shortages.
Okay. Let's do it. It's marked. It's Ice Age Farmer. It's easy to remember. But that's okay, because I could be wrong. But if I'm right, I'll be ready. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage. Say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in Cargill himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John C. Dvorak.
Well, eating oryx yet. In the morning to Mr. Adam Curry, also in the ships at sea, the boots on the ground, feet in the air, the subs in the water, the dames and the knights out there.
Yo, hello there, trolls in the troll room at trollroom.io. Let me see. Hands up there, scurry around. Let me see what's going on. How many trolls do we have? Let's get a count. Trolls today. Let's see. Ooh, low. 1969. That's low. Oh, of course, it's Veterans Day. That's why people are out and about. They're celebrating veterans or remembering with poppies, I think. Would that make sense?
19 is not bad for Thursday.
It's always a 2000 at least. I mean, it's close, but I don't know. I'll have to take we did the roll call, so I see who's not here.
What happened was that
they'll get a note. They'll get a note in their mailbox, in their little cubby box. That's the trolls. We clearly have room for more. Trollroom.io.
Did they come up with who Mary was?
No, of course not. They're trolls. They don't know that. They're trolling. They're too busy doing trolling stuff. Yes, it's a holiday. Thanks, Blitz. That's trollroom.io. If you want to...
Actually, it should go up if it's a holiday.
You would. Sometimes it's down. I mean, this is an important holiday. Well, a lot of people with military families, they're visiting, doing stuff. NoAgendaSocial.com is where you can, is where at least there won't be any impersonators of me, because we won't let that happen. Mary Meeker, they're saying. Mary Meeker? Oh, it must have been Mary Meeker, of course.
No, Mary Meeker. I didn't know she was turned into
a greenie.
Really? Mary Meeker?
I'll bet you. That makes sense. They've always been buddies.
Well, I know, but Dora and Meeker's always been buddies.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to look. Maybe she's become a greenie.
I guess so. It's possible.
Hey, join the community at noagendasocial.com. Now, even though you can't join the server, it's a Mastodon server, so it's federated. So get yourself a Mastodon account. They're free. They're all over the place. Or set up your own server. You can even, you can set up for €5 a month. You can get a server. It's kind of fun to set it up yourself, though, if you want to give it a shot. And then follow John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com and Adam at noagendasocial.com, and you'll start to get the flow. We federate with everybody. It's the way forward for these social networks. Screw Twitter. And a big in the morning and a thank you to Capitalist Agenda, who brought us the artwork for episode 1397. We appropriately titled that OK Zoomer. People like that title. I guess it hadn't been used yet.
I guess it hasn't.
Surprised.
Okay, Zoomer.
I'm surprised.
Well, we're going to start using it.
Yeah, this was the No Agenda Tyrant Shaving School, where you get your head shaven before we march you down Main Street naked. It was a nice piece. There was a lot in there. It wasn't my first pick. Let me go to the... I'm just looking at the art page right on top. There's your science, purple science blob grabbing you from behind. Who put that? Mike Riley, of course. Let's see. What did we have on the art generator? We had some giraffes fighting. No, we had we had Elmo and Sesame Street stuff. Then we had Social Credit Store, Oryx, a lot of Oryx burgers, which weren't too great. Was there anything else that you saw that we had talked about?
I fell in love with the piece of the barber shop.
Yeah.
There was oh my God, look at those horns. It's kind of cool. And I looked at the evergreens. There was a bunch of,
I like the Kenny Ben shoot him in the butt. I like the giraffe.
Yeah, I didn't like it because you couldn't see what the thing was. That was not going to happen.
It made me chuckle though. I liked it. Yeah. Well,
yeah, you did chuckle. There was one other one.
The beef eaters. You like the beef eater with the bug? I think. Could be wrong.
I think that was you.
Oh, maybe I did. But anyway, the offering was people going for gags, not a lot of super great art, and I think that the art really won in this case. It was just so well executed.
Yeah, it was one of those things where there was just a big giant chopper flying over. Hold on.
So is it black? Because then you know they're coming for you. Hey, we got it.
Well, we've got a non-believer. He doesn't think that cargo is going to take over the country. We got to go get him.
Huh? Could be. There's an osprey around here that flies around.
Really?
Yeah, it's the damnedest thing you've ever seen in the air.
I've seen him. I've seen him.
Just wow.
I've seen him crash. I had a lot of problems getting those airworthy. A lot of problems.
Thanks to computers.
Well, we thank Capitalist Agenda for bringing us that artwork. We love end of show when we get to sit down and kibitz about what we think will be the appropriate artwork. We're one of the few. Actually, Steve Webb changes his art regularly. He told me these are the Lifespring podcast.
So does Horowitz on DH Unplugged.
Oh, that's right. He also changes it. Well, these are our disciples.
Yeah, but
John.
The difference is the quality.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. I don't think they have art generators and a squad of thousands. No, they don't have
the kind of quality we have is over the top. This is professional.
But Andrew and Steve can both just get a Podcasting 2.0 app and take a look right now and see all of these wonderful pieces flashing right by you in our chapters. Our cloud chapters, expertly brought to you by Dreb Scott. Any podcast and have them. Your old podcast feeds work with it. Try it out. Newpodcastapps.com. Now, let us thank our executive producers and associate executive producers for episode 1398. And I'm sorry?
I was going to start.
Oh, I was going to kick it right off. I'll take the top one right away.
All right, take it.
Sir Luke, the Viscount of London and Southeast. Oh, I know Sir Luke. And he comes in today with a spectacular $1,111.11. And he says, today marks the 10th anniversary since my very first donation of 1111 on 11/11/2011. And they say numerology doesn't count. Since then, I've climbed the ranks to Viscount.
Who's they?
Oh, lots of people. Cargo.
Yes.
Cargo. Since then, I've climbed the ranks to Viscount, and this donation will upgrade me to the Earl of London and the Southeast. There are so many useful bits and pieces that one can pick up from the show. I'd like to thank Adam in particular for his continual commentary on blockchain and cryptocurrencies. At first, I couldn't care less, but the more and more crypto was brought up on the show, the more my curiosity was awakened. To cut a long story short, I'm now making a nice passive income from my cryptocurrency investments, allowing me to donate this amount to the show. In fact, in an effort to make this donation tax deductible, I've set up a site at crypto33.net, which details my methods for passive income. If any producers decide to use them to make money, please return some value for value to the show. Outstanding idea, Sir Luke. Please add me to the birthday list on the 14th. Give a health karma and wealth karma for all, and check out crypto33.net. Sir Luke, the Viscount of London and the Southeast, and that upgrade will be coming for you.
You've got karma.
So what he's done to make it tax deductible is create an advertising vehicle for his own product.
Yeah, which I think is completely valid. I like it. I like it, yeah.
Emmett Stewart's next on the list with $600. No slouch. And it's an executive producer knighthood in one go. Well worth the service provided. I did my time in the U.S. Marine Corps, and while I value and cherish that that, I value and cherish that on this Veterans Day. I'm confident you two have helped far more than I via the show. Please knight me, Sir Semper Fi. It's funny we haven't got a Semper Fi night, but Sir Semper Fi, I'd like to have a smoked turkey leg and Bushmills.
Oh, you got it.
At the round table, if possible. And I may ask for more jobs karma with a sucking up soot and 2 to the head. I'd really appreciate it.
You might die sucking in soot. You might die sucking in soot.
Jobs, jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Sir Lawrence of Logan Sports checks in. And let me see. I believe we have something on our sent-in notes here. Let's see. Is this him? Here we go. No? Yes. Sir Lawrence of Logan Sport. Enclosed is a partial payment for all the great news, entertainment, and just general BS for a lot of years. I began listening to No Agenda, which I found by accident the day before my first heart attack in 2010. That was also the day before my 64th birthday. Here we are, 11 years, a bypass, and 4 stents later, and they never had a fight. So much for exercise, healthy food, and a BMI under 20. The donation is in recognition of my wife, Stella, and my 33rd anniversary, you know it, which is November 11th, 1988. What a coincidence. I'd also like to recognize Humberto Sanchez, one of the Marines from Logansport, Indiana, who died along with his fellow Marine, Army, and Navy servicemen and women in the poorly conducted withdrawal from Afghanistan. Al Sharpton Medley and Goat Scream would be great. Okay, so I think we should grab the teleprompter.
Resist, we must. They're all jitty about a shutdown. The tortoise in the race. Then co-author of Hubris. U2 lead singer Bono. Fran Drescher. Sigourney Weaver. Suspect Jahar Tsarnaev. Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh. The show Rush Lombard hosts Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Yowza.
Yikes. All right. Brian Boyle, $333.33 is next on the list. And he says, in the morning, John and Adam, my wife Vanessa and I have been listening since Adam's appearance in 2020 on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we should probably do it.
Rogan donation.
I would like to gift this executive producer credit to my smoking hot wife. This is a switcheroo. Can you make a note? As a birthday gift, she is the best. Love and lit.
Do we have a name?
Vanessa.
Hey, we do have a name. Vanessa. Okay.
Vanessa Boyle would be my guess.
You got it. That is a switcheroo, and we're good to go there. Anonymous from Duncombe, Iowa. 333.33 magic executive producer donation. We love those. Hey guys. Hi guys. Been listening since Adam's first Joe Rogan appearance. Thanks for all that you do. I'm involved with a company called Dav Wood Productions, DAV, found at davwoodproductions.com. We are helping bring the Moonshine Bandits to the Val Air Ballroom in Des Moines, Iowa on November 19th. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and a meet and greet will be... I love this. Hey,
Sunday.
At least we're not
Fremont drag strip.
Hey, it's not my pillow, okay? So I'm happy. A meet and greet will be held from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Tickets are limited. Besides bringing in musical acts, we also do video recording and editing for other occasions, such as wedding, graduations, bar mitzvahs, business outings, and much more. If you got a bris, we'll be there. No jingles, just all the business success karma I can get for me and the rest of Gitmo Nation. Last thing I want my money to go into Adam's penny jar for all the knights and dames that need it. Well, I put it in there. Thanks for all you do. Love is lit. Man, thank you very much. I feel very informed now about what's happening in Duncombe.
It seems odd that someone would be promoting all this stuff and then come in as anonymous.
Oh, well. What can you say?
What are you going to do? Okay, Sir Matt Decker's next up. He's on Decker for Dodge, Iowa. Another Iowanian. 333.33. ITM, gents. Sir Matt Decker here with a switcheroo. This donation from my smoking hot wife, Brittany Decker. Another switcheroo.
Yep.
Make a note, please.
Yeah, I got it. Brittany.
It's two.
Yeah, I got two.
Who is on her way to damehood. She is also needs to be added to the birthday list. We got her on there. Her birthday is tomorrow, November 12th. Love you, babe. Please send her a no agenda hat via drone.
Here it comes. There it is.
It's on its way. Happy Valley. Look out, by the way, you're sending it to Iowa. It does get shot on the way very often.
Yeah, it does.
Shotguns. A lot of them there. Happy Veterans Day to all the vets in Gitmo Nation. I especially like to give a TYFYS thank you for your service to Jason, Clem, Baker, Decker, Thompson, and Floyd, which sounds like a baseball play.
Actually, it's Jason, Clem, Baker, Decker, Thompson, and Floyd.
Jason, Clem, Baker.
No, it's a comma.
Decker,
There's a
Thompson.
comma. There's a comma.
Yeah, I got that. I said Jason, Clem.
No, it's Jason, Clem.
Yeah, I said Jason Clem.
No, it's not one. It's not his guy's name.
No, I didn't say Jason Clem. I said Jason Clem.
Okay. All right.
Jason Clem, Baker, Decker, Thompson, and Floyd, which is a famous baseball play. Lastly, you don't get it? There's plenty of people that do. Lastly, I'd like to give Sir Bernie at Adama a karma. Okay? John, I hope this was short enough for you. If no, it's fine. Long ones, believe me, I would be complaining. If not, stay safe. What if it is? I'd like a Camel biscuit for my birthday and a Trump aroused. Love is lit, not a joke. Sir Matt Decker.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
You've got karma.
Mitchell Trumbull, Morris, Minnesota, 333.33. Mitch T. from Morris, MN, ITM. Please, de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
And he says, thank you for all you do. No jingles, no karma. Just the de-douching. You got it. I'll take this one since that was short. Dame Monica and Sir Mike from San Diego, California, 333.33. In the morning, John and Adam, what better way to celebrate our 33rd anniversary than to donate to the best podcast in the universe? Couples who listen to No Agenda stay together, and we never had a fight. Please send karma to all, as these times are crazy. Shout out to our neighbor, Dame of the Crushed Grapes, as she has supplied us with much-needed wine during these last 2 years. Also a call-out to Jimbo, douchebag, and Clovis, douchebag, as D-bags. They need to donate soon so they can join the usual roundtable and Sir Camelot. Looking forward to the next San Diego meetup. Love is lit. Dame Monica and Sir Mike.
Next up is Tim Esau, E-S-A-U. There's a way of pronouncing that. I'm not sure I'm getting it. Esau. 333.33. He writes, Dear people of the pod, ITM, boy, I'm telling you, I'm listening to some sports talk on ESPN, and all these sports guys, they all have their own pod.
Oh, God, it's so bad.
It's hopeless. Here's hoping for an authentic signed podcasting license, so I'm ready if you can find an exit strategy. Jingles, boogity, boogity, boogity. It's time to rubbleize. WTC 7 won't go away, and thank you for your courage. Tim E., soon to be certainty. Okay. I guess certainty. That would be that's going to be his. Okay, I get it. He's going to be certainty.
Certainty. Got it. All right, I found the jingles he was looking for.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to rubbleize!
WTC 7 won't go away.
You've got karma.
Yes. Sir Todd's up in Tamborine, Queensland, 333.33. Good day, gents. Sir Todd checking in, looking for some house buying karma / selling karma. Please sprinkle me with that karma. I should ask the question of him. I didn't know you could buy and sell houses in Australia. I thought the government controlled it.
Oh, is that true? I'd never heard of this.
No, I'm just kidding. Because of the nature of what's going on.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I exactly.
Man.
So, karma for him.
He wanted me to wave the karma wand, he said. No, wave it like that.
You've got karma.
Actually said sprinkle me with some karma, which is different.
Well, that was a sprinkle. It says with the karma wand. Said it right there. Karma
it does.
wand.
It doesn't say it on my thing.
It doesn't say please sprinkle me with the karma wand. Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Let me click on the box.
There you go. Dima Stelmach. Dima is from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Scandinavia, 33311. I would think that has to do something with today. In the morning, John and Adam, please accept my contribution to the best news deconstruction podcast ever. No Agenda continues to be super entertaining and year over year carries a stellar record of being on point regarding true event undercurrents. High credibility marks in my book. I continue to hold the line of thanks but no thanks to the COVID vaccine despite the ever-growing hurdle it becomes here in Canada. Recently, I was denied entry into a major hospital, Princess Margaret, as a visitor accompanying a patient. Almost every interaction with staff conducting medical procedures, tests, etc. has a question. Are you fully vaccinated? Procedure is performed the same way, whether it is yes or no. Seems like the primary objective is to guilt you into compliance via excessive nagging. Please send a huge dose of health karma for my mom, who recently had half her kidney taken out due to cancer and is now on watch to see if it's going to show up somewhere else. Fingers crossed. All the best to the entire No Agenda family. Cheers, Dima Stelmach, Richmond Hill, Ontario, Scandinavia. We'll roll out the F for you.
You've got karma.
Sir Ernie's up. He came in with 333.11, which is the Veterans Day donation.
Special donation.
Sir Ernie here with Veterans Day greetings. I decided to become an executive producer and No Agenda show before the count hits 1,400. No doubt you'll make the show 1,398 an outstanding one. I just hope this time my note will be short enough, even in by JCD standards. It's not. Just saying. Anyway, I just got 3 requests, which I hope you can help me with. I started donating some years ago, and this donation makes me halfway to becoming a baronet. But the thing is, I still haven't been dedouched.
Oh, well, we could take care of that.
You've been dedouched.
With that finally sorted, here's my executive producer Jingles request. 1, I've got information, man. New shit has come to light. 2, Dr. Kiki, shut up already. It's science. 3, Fauci wheeze. 4, if you see something, say something, Jingle. And a bonus clip, if possible. 5, Biden dry laughter, the end of show ISO candidate from episode 1397.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Finally, I could use some karma. Today being the so-called Singles Day and all.
I don't know about this. What is this Singles Day?
It was Singles Day. I think it was yesterday, the day before. It was International Singles Day or something. I don't know. And
So
I'll let you choose between regular karma, goat karma, and French bulldog karma. Whichever is of them you believe is the most effective in this occasion for myself and other currently unattached producers.
All right.
Who are long-winded and write long notes. We want a special karma for them. Any of the 3 would be highly appreciated. Smiley face.
All right.
And then he says, congratulations in advance of reaching 1,400. Looking forward to show 1,500. Cheers, Sir Ernie, the biker knight of the northern province of the Starfleet Command.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
Shut up already. It's science.
If you see something, say something.
You've got karma.
Yeah, don't tell me I don't deliver.
Now, I want to read the next note to contrast it with the previous note.
Okay.
This is more of along the lines of the notes you like to get. Sir Craig Porter of the Ronin, Sir Craig Porter the Ronin, N7FS N73s, 3311 from Carlsbad, California, and he says, TYFYC NJNK 73, Sir Craig Porter, the Ronin, N7FS N73s to you, Sir Craig. Boom.
I grab the next one. You'll like it.
Josh Cox, 333. He comes in and says, hey, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
This is Josh Cox of NA Local 512. We got a buddy with a ranch that will oryx at much cheaper prices. I'll bring some sample meat next time I kill one. We'll have to gather a no-agenda hunt soon.
How many times does someone say that to you? Hey, next time I kill one, I'll bring it to you. All right, man, all in. I will definitely come to that meetup. Will Gherkin is in Denver, Colorado since 3:33 for this episode 1398. Loving this. In the morning, gents, fellow dude named Ben here donating some treasure as a thank you for the infotainment provided. I was hit in the mouth by Mountain Jay last year and started listening right away. You'll be happy to learn that No Agenda has become a must-listen staple of my week. Very happy to learn that. I've gotten a lot of value from the show. Few things are. Priceless and life-saving information from the show and Mastodon that I would have missed out on. I've been reconnecting to a childhood friend and producer of the best podcast in the universe. Many friends have been made through the meetups here in Denver, Colorado, and much, much more. I've been hitting people in the mouth regularly and often. You can find me at Gherkinator at mastodon.gherkinator.com. No, see, he's got his own Mastodon server. Please de-douche me. Oh, bury the lead.
You've been de-douched.
And give some karma to the great folks of Gitmo Nation. Thank you very much, William.
You've got karma.
Okay, Tom Ross in San Fernando, California, 222. He sent a note in. I have a copy of it right here, you can tell. 222. Donation enclosed. Read what you wish on the air. First paragraph is optional. So I'll summarize the first paragraph. My name is Tom Ross. I'm not anonymous. Shout my name from the rooftops. Okay. He went to Hawaii and bought some soap called in a Kona shop called Surfin' Ass, which had nothing to do with surf, but they sold a lot of soap. And he says the maker's a local Hawaiian company called Filthy Farm Girl, and they feature soap bars with names like Filthy Duck, or Filthy Dick, Filthy Lesbian, or Filthy Librarian, Filthy Elf. Anyway, they got a Filthy Fauci. Sent me a bar of soap, Filthy Fauci. This stuff's dynamite smelling. I don't even know it's a beauty.
But does it have a picture of Fauci on it?
Yeah, it does.
No,
it's a rapper.
No way.
The rapper's got Fauci on it, yeah.
You think they licensed that officially?
No, well, yes, for sure. Especially from the Surfin' Ass shop in Kona.
All right.
Please find a closed check for 222. It's a super positive number. So I expect thousands of new listeners to donate immediately. 222 is a super positive number, so I expect thousands to donate immediately. Besides, with luck, it won't be read last in the list. It won't. Please play the only jingle that matters, Rubbleizer. Happy 21. Keep on trucking. Tom Tech.
Happy 21.
Happy 21.
What is it? I don't understand.
I don't know. I'm just reading the note.
India, Tango, Mike, stand by. 33. Rubbleizer out.
Now, I looked. I don't have a note for Christopher Burke, who comes in with 201 from St. Paul, Minnesota. I presume you looked and couldn't find anything either.
No, he's got nothing.
We've got Chad Finkbeiner from Highland Heights, Ohio, who wants to send
Great name.
Yes, Finkbeiner. Wants to send a birthday wish
here
to his mother, Brenda Finkbeiner. And please put her down. Another switcheroo. Okay, so this is from Chad to Brenda. All right. Well, that's very nice of you, Chad. Okay, we'll make sure that, there we go, switcheroo. She would like a biscuit for her birthday. Holy crap, I didn't realize that we had such a demand for biscuits. And what is the last thing on the list
Nancy Trump jobs karma. The Nancy Trump one that was semi-retired, then brought back into service.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
Jobs,
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 jobs.
and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
If you don't mind, I'll take this next one.
Yeah, go.
It's personal. This is one of our longest listening producers, Sergeant Fred.
An Austinian.
Yes, Sergeant Fred Castaneda. Anyone who's been listening for the past 11 years probably heard Sergeant Fred show up many, many times in the donations, usually with the double nickels on the dime. He really loved that. So today he comes in, and I've not heard from Sergeant Fred for a year or two. I believe he's out with his daughter now in California. In the morning. Thanks to you as a team that has provided so much value for me since I started donating to you, mainly in person, in July 2011 during the Hot Pockets tour in Austin. As a veteran, I am proud to have served both as a combat infantryman during the Vietnam War, as well as an airborne paratrooper and recondo sergeant with the 82nd Airborne Division. Anyone who knows anything about the military should be impressed. And I don't know, did you get the picture that he sent? You probably didn't.
I didn't see a picture.
No, so he sent this picture, and it's this iconic, like, New York Times picture from, must be when was the Vietnam War? 69? Does that make sense? Yeah, 69.
It was going on then.
And you see, and it says, American GI crossing Muddy River in, whatever region of Vietnam. And there's this young, handsome kid holding his rifle, and that's Sergeant Fred. It's so weird to see him in that setting, in that shot. So with this donation, in addition to being an associate executive producer, I have finally achieved knighthood. And I would like to be knighted as Sir Frederick the Terrible, Knight of the Airborne Paratroopers. As for the round table, please provide both tequila añejo, that would be aged, and carne asada and carnitas for the meal. I will enjoy that with the mutton and mead. I'm attaching the photo of myself, the one taken by UPI reporter who accompanied my squad on patrol during the war. There it is. And the other in my uniform as an airborne paratrooper. For jingles, please play the long version of a drone again, naturally, and a goat karma. I'm grateful for the value you provide, and I still have memories of our lunch together in Austin in 2014 and 2015. Airborne all the way. And for Adam, que viva Cristo Rey! And I have that lined up for you. We have the full track. I'll just play this one for you now. Good to hear from you, Sergeant Fred, and happy to see you at the round table.
The drone again, naturally.
You've got karma.
That concludes our list, I think.
Oh, is that no? Oh, yeah. That is, oh, wait. We have one. No, I think we have one other.
I don't think so.
No, it was someone. I want to read it because someone's becoming a knight today. Hold on, I could find it here. Paul Sayer. Today's show, 1398, marks my 49th month of donating on the $20.17 donation plan, just getting me over the $1,000 level, accounting attached. He says, curious that I'm sending this on a show day, so no issue if this is missed for the show. I guess it came in, I don't know if it came in today or late. I thought I'd better get this in before the rush of knightings that's bound to happen for show 1400. Please knight me Sir Paul of the Gitmo Nation East Military Proving Grounds, and I'd like a long overdue de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
And then he requests chicken madras and ginger beer for the round table. He says, a man cannot live on mutton, mead, and hookers and blow alone. This may be true. And we thank you very much for that. So I'm going to, luckily I ordered the chicken madras and ginger beer for you earlier. So that is truly the last one of our...
No, I do have to mention a couple things. One, Agent Fred sent in the Agent Orange Review.
Okay.
For information for veterans who served in Vietnam and their families. It's a very interesting newsletter. People might want to look into this.
Where can we find this?
The Department of Veterans Affairs.
Oh.
va.gov/Agent Orange. And then somebody sent me a kalimba, which is a miniature one of these little finger harps.
Mm-hmm.
Very small. And there was no note attached. I just want to thank whoever it was. It was kind of a funny little device. It's
Hey, it's no theremin. Care what you say. It's no theremin.
The theremin is coming.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
In the meantime, of course, we always have.
Thank you very much to our executive and associate executive producers for episode 1398. These credits are real, people. Go to IMDb, check it out. Look for No Agenda. You'll see there's some big names in there as well. You can use those for anything when it comes to production, and it makes a difference. People like seeing that. Executive producer. Okay, that's pretty interesting.
People also use it on their Twitter.
In the profile, everywhere. Yeah, you can use all kinds of places. If anyone ever questions it, let us know. We'll be happy to vouch for you. Very few have needed us to vouch, but it has been a couple times.
Because we're so well known.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. If you're confused by all of this and you'd like to learn how it works, we do have a handy website. Your kids can sing the jingle. You should try it too.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thank you very much for producing episode 1398 of the best podcast in the universe.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order.
Shut up, Slade.
Shut up.
I have some clips I wanted to catch up on.
All right, ready?
So Broadway's going through a renaissance. They're trying to pack in their audience. Nobody wants to go see anything.
Is that true? Is it? Are the seats empty? It can't be. I mean, everything. If it's on Broadway, people are going. Wouldn't you think?
Well, they say they're bitching that it's not. They're not going, but I think the reason they're not going is because they're rewriting all the Broadway musicals and plays to be more woke.
Oh, yay! Let's see how that works.
So it turns out that NPR did a special on this, and they're all jacked up and jitty about how they're going to change the script so they're more woke.
Now, wait a minute. These are existing plays / musicals, and they're changing the book, as we call it. Is it the book?
It's the book, yeah.
The book. They're changing the book. Can you do that? Can you just change the book?
You can do whatever you want if you're the producer, but generally speaking, you have to get the writer to do. But the writers are all in. Miranda, for example.
Is this guy overrated? Is this guy overrated? This Miranda?
You think?
Have you seen Hamilton?
Yes, I saw the Netflix
the TV version. Yeah,
well, it's the same. I mean, it was the play. They didn't change the story for.
But did you like it?
No, I didn't like it. I thought it was slow moving.
And
it was pretentious.
I agree. Just stop for a second. There was where did I read this article? It was a great article about how it really was. It was not a great musical, but because everyone in woke New York just fawned over it and became this. I mean, didn't the guy get a Nobel Prize for it?
I don't know if he got that.
Yes. I think Manuel got a Nobel Prize or something. It was so out of. I have not seen it.
Did you see the Netflix version?
No. I guess I should probably watch that.
Well, you'll find it's very pretentious and slow moving, and and it's kind of like, okay, this is a gimmick. It's a gimmicky thing. They've even made it more woke.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton wins Pulitzer Prize for drama. Not the Nobel Prize. Pulitzer Prize.
Anything woke.
Hold on. What is it? Isn't the Pulitzer Prize for reporting?
Yeah. No, they have them for fiction. They got a fiction award. Everything.
And wokeness.
So everything's woke. So even Hamilton's changed to make it more woke.
Oh gosh.
So let's listen to this report. There's a 5-parter, the short clips, except one. And this is a little expose. They're happy as a clam at NPR that they've made these plays more woke, and you'll get a kick out of one of these clips.
We want to talk about some changes you will see if you are lucky enough to get to Broadway this season. As you probably know, Broadway, really all the performing arts, experienced something of an existential crisis after the COVID pandemic shut down in-person performances. Now, as shows return, there's a cultural change as well, arising from the demands for racial justice sparked by the killings of George Floyd and others last year. This fall, several hit shows, including The Book of Mormon, are rewriting and restaging sections to reflect this change.
What?
And by the end of the season, at least 9 plays by Black authors will have opened on Broadway.
They're rewriting the Book of Mormon?
It's in one of the clips, a few details.
Okay, thank you, because that's...
Jeff London covers theater for us, so we asked him to talk about these new developments. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Michelle. Great to talk to you.
First, I want to ask you about these rewrites.
Well, there are a variety of shows that have made everything from tiny tweaks to big changes. In the tiny tweak category, To Kill a Mockingbird, they have added at the end of the show a view of the ghost of Tom Robinson, the black man who was unjustly convicted of rape. In the show, he dies off stage, and in the old version, you didn't see him again.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've heard this. Oh, yes. This is a very problematic play because it was white savior complex.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, everything.
This is a classic. A classic. All right. I reserve judgment until I've heard them all.
Oh, you don't need to, but okay, let's go with part 2.
In Hamilton, the non-speaking character of Sally Hemings turns her back on Thomas Jefferson now.
Oh, no!
But the Book of Mormon is where the biggest changes have happened. Several black cast members wrote to the producers in July of 2020 about moments in the show they felt were racist. So the company held...
The whole show is anti-religion. The whole thing is so politically incorrect.
It's done by the South Park guys. What do you expect?
Wait, so the South Park guys, did they change it to woke language?
Well, they it's hard to say, but as he explains it sounds like they had to buy into it because it was important.
All right, let's listen.
Were racist. So the company held a 2-week workshop where they went through the script line by line and they changed things, like towards the end of the show having a Ugandan woman scare off a warlord instead of the white missionary, and it gives her more agency. The producers wouldn't let me speak with anyone involved with the show, but I did talk to Douglas Lyons. He wrote the new comedy Chicken and Biscuits, and he made his Broadway debut as an actor in the Book of Mormon. Here's what he told me.
Book of Mormon is now a decade old, and some jokes that we were making in 2011 are no longer acceptable, and that's okay. And I think them going away and trying to come up with this new version is remarkable, right? Let them change it. Let's be better.
Be better.
Can we talk a little bit more about this, Jeff? I have to ask, did nobody really notice before that the way the African characters were depicted was sexualized, infantilized? I mean, this isn't Porgy and Bess, which was written in the 30s. Did nobody notice before, or did nobody feel that they had the agency to speak up? Because I have to tell you that, when I saw it, I was really taken aback. And I'm not saying that every theater offering has to be to my liking. I'm just looking around this theater and wondering why nobody else is as uncomfortable as I am.
Because you're an idiot? Oh, my goodness. I couldn't believe it. It was so wrong. 2011, I was already pre-woke. I'm so good. I'm an NPR. By the way, woke, be careful saying that in public. That's now, they're trying to make that a racist slur. Not kidding. You know how they do it. They change the meanings of the words.
On the fly.
That's right. Whenever it's handy. This is good. I like this. I'm so happy that you listen to this drivel to entertain us.
I think drivel is the exact right description.
Mm-hmm.
So our NPR hostess, and I use the word advisedly, a hostess, she's was uncomfortable with watching this play. And they had to change so the woman who at the end says, "Go away, you idiot missionaries, they had to change that or something anyway. So
No. She scared away the evil beast, but it was the missionaries who did that. Now it has to be the Ugandan woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to give her more agency.
Yeah, because it's important to the audience that everyone is well represented with agency.
Yes, with the agency.
So, because we all want agency.
I want some agency. What the hell? Wait, for our international listeners, agency definition. Now, we have the noun agency, but let's look at agency. So, when did they change this? What does this mean, agency?
It means you now have more power, empowerment.
It
means empowerment.
Yes, a person or thing through which power is exerted or an end is achieved. So instead of saying, so you could have more power over Whitey, they say agency. Okay, I got it. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. Okay, let's go to part 3.
I think that there were probably always people who were uncomfortable with it. I mean, the people who wrote the show are well known for having created South Park, which is the kind of comedy that really pushes everything to its limits. And from what I've read, they were more concerned as they were creating the show about the response to the Mormon characters in the show. But there have been people who've complained about it over the years. And I do recall reading a post on the internet from somebody who'd been in the show who complained that it was racist.
I'm so happy that NPR brings people on who have read a post on the internet.
But clearly what had happened in the summer of 2020 gave the actors who were in the show and some of the original actors a reason to write to the creators and producers.
Hold on, I got to stop you for a second. Hamilton was okay because Lin-Manuel Noriega, whatever the guy's name is, he's a man of color. So it's okay for him to make jokes, certainly about the N-word and white people. Trey Parker was a Mormon, grew up Mormon. Does he not have the same agency to make fun of Mormons?
No.
And I have to say, I haven't actually seen any of the changes. It started performances yesterday, and as I mentioned, the producers did not let me speak with any of the creative people or actors involved. So, they just confirmed the information that had been published in previous interviews.
So I understand that there are other changes on Broadway, too. Maybe we'll call those structural changes. Do you want to tell us about those?
Yeah, there have been some big industry-wide initiatives. The Broadway League, which represents theater owners and producers, and the Actors Union co-signed a 17-page diversity pledge with a group of artists called Black Theater United. They've agreed to set up trainings and mentorship programs, and they'll make sure that creative teams aren't all white. And that's something that the Dramatist Guild, which represents playwrights, composers, and lyricists, have done as well. They've added an inclusion rider to their contracts. And then there's an organization called the Broadway.
Stop. So something should be mentioned here at least. These guilds are not representing their people.
No.
Now, I want to mention this. Because people say, well, labor unions are this, they're that, they're no good. In the early days, and people, when they do the histories of the early days of labor unions, and guilds, they bitch about this. And at the same time, if you were a member of those guilds or labor unions, you had it made because these guilds protected you. They didn't like new people coming in. They didn't open it up for everybody to be a member. It was the certain number of people that was kind of fixed, and you were a member. If you got to become a member of that guild, you would always get work. And anyone else who tried to horn in on this, they'd get screwed. And the guilds were onerous in this regard. They were not pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
They really stuck up for the people there. Nowadays, the guilds seem to be, they're not representing anybody.
It's kind of like unions, basically.
The early unions were also this way. Mm-hmm. They were very strict about who could become a member, and they wouldn't let people in. And they were accused of being racist because they wouldn't let the Irish in, for example, in some unions. But that softened up after a while, and now it's at the point where the unions don't really protect their people. This is not protecting their people if they're like, wanting everybody else to just jump in. This is not right. But it fits into the diversity.
A question about this reporter from NPR. Is this reporter, is his intent at any point to motivate people and get excited about these plays? Because he's bumming me out.
Well, he's not. Yes, I don't think that was his goal. His goal was to trumpet the greatness of diversity.
All right, let's back it up a little and continue.
Theater owners and producers and the Actors Union co-signed a 17-page diversity pledge with a group of artists called Black Theater United. They've agreed to set up trainings and mentorship programs, and they'll make sure that creative teams aren't all white. And that's something that the Dramatist Guild, which represents playwrights, composers, and lyricists, have done as well. They've added an inclusion rider to their contracts. And then there's an organization called the Broadway Advocacy Coalition. It just won
Wait, what did he just say there? Hold on.
All white. And that's something that the Dramatist Guild, which represents playwrights, composers, and lyricists, have done as well. They've added an inclusion rider to their contracts. And then there's an organization called the Broadway Advocacy Coalition. It just won a special Tony Award that's working with some current Broadway shows, The Lion King, Company, Tina. Jalen Livingston is a member of the group, and he says he hopes the training sticks.
Oh, man. This is depressing. I'd like me a musical. Was
that 4? That was 2, 3, I think.
Oh, yeah, you got 2 more. This is, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm kind of digging this nut. Hey,
here we go. Let's go
exit strategy. Exit strategy. The Woke Awards. What do you think?
Ooh.
Yeah, the Woke Awards.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I need to add that Livingston at 27 is the youngest African-American director on Broadway. He directed Chicken and Biscuits, one of the 9 shows by Black writers.
The Wokies.
It is noteworthy that, as you said, there are going to be 9 plays on Broadway by Black playwrights this season. Are these new measures, you think, what enabled that, or are there other forces at work?
Go get it.
I'm already there, man. You don't have to tell me these. How long have we been married, John C. Dvorak?
Measures, you think, what enabled that, or are there other forces at work?
Well, those measures that we talked about are still in progress, but in the meantime, a bunch of nonprofit theaters that have Broadway houses are reopening with plays by Black authors. And I think that's got to be, at least in part, a response to last year's protests. But in the commercial arena, producers are finding opportunities. You know, some shows closed during the pandemic, leaving several Broadway theaters empty. And some producers took advantage of that. That's how the play Passover by Antoinette Wandu played at the August Wilson Theater. And that's how Chicken and Biscuits, the comedy by Douglas Lyons, ended up in the Circle in the Square Theater. He told me he was thrilled to be on Broadway, but there's more to it.
I really think this could be a turning point in the American theater where we go, what kind of stories are we allowing to be seen? And I think Chicken and Biscuits specifically is breaking the mold of what style stories, what kind of laughter, what kind of comedy is typically in the space. And these characters are bringing representation. I've had little 16-year-old girls come up to me and go, I never thought I would see myself in a Broadway show. I loved that. That's powerful.
That's agency. The wokeawards.com taken, wokies.com taken. So I got wokies.org. I think it'll still work for us.
Yeah, you can also do Wokies Awards.
Yeah, I looked at a lot of that has been taken. People are way too smart. But what's interesting is this report. It's what's going on everywhere. So podcasting, as you know, anyone can start a podcast. It's been that way for 17 years. It's only gotten easier. Anybody can sign up, at Podbean, as you would say, our favorite. And can start a podcast. So we have our own industry group called the Podcast Academy, nonprofit group, and that's all they do. We need more people of color in podcasting. We need more WOC in podcasting. It's like, I can understand a theater, it's limited. It's harder to get into. But podcasting, why do you need to promote this? You know what I mean? It's woke.
Yeah, there's already 4.5 to 5 million podcasts.
Yeah, there's plenty of
anyone
people of color and women. Yeah.
Anyone falling out of bed with a microphone and a recorder.
If you can say, hey, guys, you can do a podcast. Come on.
And you can say, hey, guys, you can buy an H1, one of these little handheld things, and you can just do a podcast. Or you can get in your car and drive around with a camera on you, and you can do a podcast. Why do you have to encourage any one thing or another?
Because
I would say do less podcasts.
These people need something to do. That's what this is. These are people who can't be on Broadway because they suck, and so they start groups to be close to the action. That's my view, at least.
Well, it's a cynical view.
Mm-hmm.
And
you subscribe to it. I'm not going to argue it.
I'm not buying it. So let's go with the last clip.
So, and how our audience is responding?
Hey, we should replace Scott Adams with a black guy. Don't you think? Let's just go all in with this.
Scott Adams got to go. We need a black guy.
We need a black guy. We need. We can keep the same name, Scott Adams. It works as a black name.
It's a good black name.
Yeah, it's a good black name. He'd be perfect.
Well, the night I went to see Chicken and Biscuits,
Start it over.
I'm sorry. I'm just vibing on this. Hey, you know what? They should replace us with some black dudes. Come on, get rid of these podcasters, Whitey.
So, and how our audience is responding?
Well, the night I went to see Chicken and Biscuits, the crowd was double over in laughter, as was I. But, all Broadway shows not named Hamilton are having a rough time bringing in crowds. The tourists haven't really returned. Group sales haven't really returned. And you can pretty much see any show on Broadway now at a discount.
Gee. Oh, you don't say. Who would have thought?
I'm shocked by this.
That is a very disturbing report. It is. We can't even go to New York if you're not vaxxed. You can't go in anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, that's pretty true. But no one's going anyway. You go to see Hamilton's redo. They get the girl turning her back on Jefferson. Because back in the day, she knew he was a racist. Take down his statue. They took his statue down from the City Hall in New York.
Of course.
Thomas Jefferson.
Well, this wokeness has crept into a lot of things. And the reason Scott Adams popped up in my head is because he posted that he thought that Pete Buttigieg is possibly the best type of person you could have to run transportation. And, I know why Scott Adams does this. It keeps him on the radar. That's what he likes. He thinks it's smart. But let's look at Pete Buttigieg and let's look at some of the wokeness that he is bringing into the transportation industry. And people may have seen this clip. What?
No, I would just want to mention you're going to be talking about public transportation. The number one vector for disease.
Yes, that one.
Do they discuss that? Do they discuss that public transportation? That's why New York had so many COVID cases. Is probably the subway and bus system.
No,
the public transportation system, the number one vector for disease.
No, they talk about J40.
Oh,
do you know what J40 is?
Isn't that some sort of a soap?
I'm shocked you are not aware of J40.
Secretary Mayor Pete, could you give us the breakdown of the implementation?
Wait, hold on, stop. Did she say Secretary Mayor Pete?
Oh, I don't know. Let's listen again.
What kind of a title? Secretary Mayor Pete.
Let me hear again.
Secretary Mayor Pete.
Wow, you're right. That's lame. You know who that is? I think that's also, isn't that Yamiche?
It could be.
I think it's Yamiche, yeah.
Secretary Mayor Pete.
Secretary Mayor Pete. That's a good catch.
Could you give us the breakdown of the implementation of Justice 40 with the infrastructure package that's now passed?
Justice 40.
Signed into law. And also, can you give us the construct of how you will...
Wait, I'm sorry. I got to take this back. Hold on.
The infrastructure package that's now passed and signed.
Okay, Justice 40 is now in the infrastructure that just passed. The infrastructure bill passed, the $1.2 trillion. We'll get to that.
Justice 40 with the infrastructure package that's now passed and signed into law. And also, can you give us the construct of how you will deconstruct the racism that was built into the roadways that you talked to the Griot earlier when you broke that information with us? Can you talk to us about how that could be deconstructed?
Okay, so what is going on here is there was a pre-meeting, and in the pre-meeting, the question was, okay, I want you to ask me about the construction of the deconstruction of the platform of the thing that's something racist. I mean, I don't know what she said. Let's listen again.
Give us the construct of how you will deconstruct.
The construct of how you will deconstruct.
The racism that was built into the roadways that you talked.
The racism that was built into the roadways.
What?
Yeah.
Because they're using black asphalt?
When you broke that information with us, can you talk to us about how that could be deconstructed?
Okay. All right. So the construct and how you're going to deconstruct the construct of racist built into our road systems. This was set up before in a very friendly way because it was Secretary Mayor Pete. Can you? I'm asking the question you told me to ask you, Secretary Mayor Pete. Here I am. Give me a lollipop.
For sure, yeah. So the principle of Justice 40 is that at least 40% of the clean investments in this bill will go to benefit the communities that are overburdened and underserved. So part one of that is defining those investments that are eligible, and that's a lot of it. And we're working to map out kind of program by program, mode by mode, what would qualify. For example, if we're buying clean buses, right? How do we make sure in terms of where those buses go, but also looking at the business opportunity, the jobs that are going to be created, the businesses that will have a chance to compete for the business opportunities it creates. That, too, I think is a very important element of equity here that's in the spirit of Justice 40. And again, we have a lot of guidance and oversight from the White House since that's an administration-wide initiative. Yeah. We know that we've got to build our own internal kind of ways of aligning and defining that inside the administration. As to where we target those dollars, I'm still surprised that some people were surprised when I pointed to the fact that if a highway was built for the purpose of dividing a white and a black neighborhood, or if an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or there would have been, in New York was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that
kind of a
simple
black
reality.
hole on.
And I think we have everything to gain by acknowledging it and then dealing with it, which is why the Reconnecting Communities, that $1 billion, is something we want to get to work right away putting to work.
All right. Now, remember, this is Scott Adams' guy right here. So take him with, handle this with respect.
So let's go over a couple of these items. First of all, I don't know of any area I'm in California, of course, but still, I don't know that they build roads specifically to divide the black and white communities, unless those communities are already divided and there's a road that happens to be going down that.
From what I understand, this was a design. I'm not sure how long ago the design was put in place, but it was caught and then classified as racist. So it was never built, as far as I understand.
And then we have, a triple-decker Puerto Rican bus? What are we talking about here? How many overpasses can't handle a normal bus?
I don't know.
And by the way, whites take the bus too. But he's specifically talking about a school bus for Puerto Rican kids where an overpass is built so low that the bus would slam into it.
Yeah.
What is he talking about?
Yeah. I don't know. But Justice 40 to me is a little more concerning because this wasn't told. We didn't know anything about what was in this.
I never heard of it.
Infrastructure package.
As you pointed out.
Yes.
You mentioned it.
It is now part of, it is now law. Here it is. Justice 40. Now, Justice 40, this is interesting. She said it was passed in the infrastructure bill. Initially, Justice 40, from what I understand, was an executive order. And so maybe that was shoehorned in to make it law. So I have the text of the executive order, which creates a government-wide Justice 40 initiative.
Why is it called Justice 40? Let's start with
that. Here
it
comes. I'm going to read it to you. You might hear it. The order creates a government-wide Justice 40 initiative with the goal of delivering 40%, there's your 40, of the overall benefits of relevant federal investments to disadvantaged communities and tracks performance that goal through the establishment of an environmental justice scorecard. We've gone insane. The order initiates the development of a climate and environmental justice screening tool, building off the EPA's EJ screen to identify disadvantaged communities, support the... Oh, they're going to go in with a divining rod? Like this is what the environmental justice screening tool, like 2 twigs. Oh, yeah, this is disadvantaged community here. That's right. We need to support this with Justice 40 to inform equitable decision-making across the federal government. This is... So all the money, 40% of the overall benefits go to wherever they determine it should go. It doesn't seem very fair, but okay. That is whatever's going on in the infrastructure bill. Then we have the human infrastructure bill. What?
It just seems to me that, I don't know, this sounds like a lot of hand flag waving and virtue signaling. What can they do? You got a disadvantaged community. You got an infrastructure bill. You got 40% of the money going to them, which is going to be out of $1.2 trillion. What is that? 40%.
600 billion.
It's like third.
600 billion. 600 billion. No, 580.
No, that's half. It'd be less than that.
Yeah.
So about 40 billion. So let's say you got 40 billion. You're going to go to these guys.
400, John. 400 billion. Not 40.
That's right. 400, not 40.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
You got $400 billion now, and you go into these disadvantaged communities with your infrastructure. What are you going to do with that money?
Raise all the overpasses so the buses can get through. Hello.
Well, they're still not going to fit in because, as you know, Joe Biden said when a road goes out, you got to raise it higher because it's going to be flooded otherwise. Remember that?
It's going to be flooded. Yeah, well, that's what they're going to do. And now the other shoe has to drop. This is the big fight. This is what's going on. This is for the big kahuna. This is for all the money. This is what the Federal Reserve needs. Someone needs this to print some money. They can't wait. We need this. You'll read it. You'll know what's in it when we pass it. But luckily, Nancy Pelosi, in one of her final acts as Speaker of the House, because that bag can't last much longer, she explained the Build Back Better bill. And before I play this 1-minute clip, a reminder, Your No Agenda show identified this bullcrap early on, and because it's global, don't be fooled by it being the U.S. Build Back Better plan. This is Build Back Better Great Reset. This is global, and it's not good.
But we're here today to report on what we have done. This is a nearly $1 trillion investment in Build Back Better and bipartisan infrastructure framework, recognizes the interconnectedness of climate change and gender justice.
Okay, let's recognize the interconnectedness of climate change and gender justice. It'll only cost $3.5 trillion. I have a thought about this. We'll let her finish.
Recognizes the interconnectedness of climate change and gender justice and enables women and girls to lead a just transition to a clean energy economy of the future.
Wait. Ah, bless you. Something about women getting money.
Women and girls to lead a just transition to a clean energy economy of the future. Our legislation advances our mission to decarbonize and realign every sector of the economy. It is a model of collaboration that brings together public, private, and nonprofit sectors to scale the solutions necessary for
achieving... Did she say steal?
Let's listen again.
Net zero.
Hold on.
Sectors to scale the solutions.
She said seal, but then
play it back again.
No, she says seal.
Public, private, and nonprofit sectors to scale the solutions.
She read the C as an E. Seal. That's what she said.
Brings together public, private, and nonprofit sectors to scale the solutions necessary for achieving net zero pollution globally. These bills are far-reaching in scale and scope, ensuring that the design, manufacturing, financing, and deployment of our future economy, is cleaner and greener.
Okay, it just hit me. During this clip, all of a sudden I figured it out. This is the gender justice. I'm just gonna try this one on you. We know that most of these people are transhumanists. They believe that technology fixes everything, particularly human beings. Yeah, if you're a dumb hick who likes Trump, we're going to put an electrode in your head and we'll fix you. Everything is, your Apple Watch, your steps, check your heart rate. This kind of goes along with what Texas Slim was saying, but I'll leave that for what it is. And then they talk about gender justice, trans. Do you think the concept of a trans person today may mean switching gender or whatever? Is that maybe preparation for just the bland transhuman that we are all intended to become? Is this the setup that we become comfortable with? Oh yeah, that person's trans. Not because they have no gender, because they have electrodes coming out of their head.
Well, you and your buddy there, your Texas Slim, should get into the novel writing business. I think that would be a good one, because I would actually take that story and run with it. I like it.
For a better life beyond your freedom, build back
better, everybody. For who?
For someone else.
For someone else.
Hey, don't mock it, man. We're the only one with jingles. The only transnational government that has jingles is your Gitmo Nation No Agenda show. And we're proud of it. Let me see. I got an OTG thing here. What did I have?
OTG.
Yeah, I don't really have a good OTG
I'm an OTG.
And you are an OTG kind of guy. I got something funny. All right, let me see. Here is, we haven't talked about, I don't know if we want to. I got a whole bunch of clips. I'll play none of them. This Astro World Travis Scott thing is out of control. I've been inundated by people saying it was a satanic ritual. It was this. It was that. I mean,
if anyone says that to you, they're barking up the wrong tree, because you're the king of spotting that stuff.
Yes. Now, and by the way, this is millennials who are saying this to me, and it's specifically anyone who doesn't know that this was a satanic ritual is not even worth talking to. That's the level that it's at. Like us, I think people are saying there must have been 100 people dead. The whole VIP area was just filled with people. There's no evidence of this. There is no evidence. In fact, the news played this people crashing through a barricade over and over on a loop. If you saw that, it's during the day. That was when the gates opened to get into the park. That was not during the evening. The only thing I see from the evening is one person, but I'm sure that there were 8 or 9, who was spazzing out on the floor, not in a mosh pit, not being trampled on. It's unconscionable to me that I cannot find any video of people being crushed to death in that crowd. I cannot find any video of the 20, 30, 40 people who were lined up in the VIP area dead. Have you seen any of these?
No, I haven't. No. I've only followed the lawsuit side of the story.
Right. So before we get to that, so I don't believe that happened. I mean, yes, I know that at least 8 people died.
What happened?
I don't believe they were crushed to death. I am going to tell you, and also there were purple lights, and there was a tone that was used, and that triggered, people. No, these were people who were at a concert, got excited, and their heart gave out on them because of the vaccine. That is the only thing I can see that makes any sense. Everything else is an illusion, imagination. Please show me some video of actual dead people as discussed. It's not available, makes no sense in this context or this setting.
Well, they've had this incident sort of thing. This sort of incident has happened before in the past, and they've never showed it then either. They don't show dead Americans crushed in
John, they is the people who have cell phones. This should be all over the place.
Okay.
This is not the news who show us what they want us to see.
You're probably right. It should be on Facebook.
And there was also, I went back and I looked at 20 different events back to 1979 to the WHO. I think it was Cincinnati. There's never a mention of cardiac arrest. Now, as to the Narcan, by the way, that they dropped that real quick. Oh yeah, the security guard got pricked, and no, that dude was high. EMTs are trained, says Dr. J, our producer, to access unconscious and unresponsive people, check breathing, heart rate, pulmonary response, and whether or not they respond to painful stimuli, a knuckle to the sternum, pressing your finger into a nail bed. Then you try a few different fast-acting medications. Narcan, glucagon, which raises blood sugar quickly in diabetics who might have a very low blood sugar. There's a standard algorithm if the patient is out of it and deeply unresponsive. To John's question of other uses of Narcan, there's a formulation that some docs use to treat some alcoholics. It seems to help with craving for alcohol, but there aren't any real other on-label uses I'm aware of. So the point is that it may have looked like they were reviving people with Narcan. It's just part of the protocol. You start at the beginning, you see if you can pinch them awake, then you do the Narcan, then you throw some sugar in there to make sure if they're diabetic they'll come to. I truly believe that just looking at it, not very different from these athletes who are dropping on the football field. I think that this was vaccine adverse event reaction, and that's why the Kardashians appeared to be tone deaf, because they were just tweeting, "Oh, it was a great show. I love." One of the Kardashians is baby mama to Travis Scott, just to make it even more disgusting.
Okay, well, you can let's put it this way: if what your theory, it's either theory, hypothesis, supposition, whatever you want to call it, advertising. If your thesis, that's the word.
Thank you.
Is correct, this will happen again and again and again.
Yes.
At these various large venue events.
Yes, it has to be a rager, which is kind of what Travis Scott is known for. So yeah, that's perfect. We will keep our eye on that for more of these events moving forward. Unfortunately, it's going to happen on the teacup ride in Disneyland with the little children who've been vaccinated. I'm very negative on this.
I've noticed, yes. Well, I am too. I don't think kids should get vaccinated, but the parents are demanding it. According to the news, not all parents, of course, but our local news around here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Big news. No, let me just stick in the conspiracy theory. Then we need to take our break. This is very important news because once again,
NASA's return to the moon has been delayed for at least another year. Plans for a 2024 moon landing have been pushed back to 2025. NASA says legal issues surrounding the selection of SpaceX for the mission contributed to the delay.
Sure did. Mm-hmm. All right, 2025. I guess we've got another 3 years to go, John, for this show.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And we do have more than a few people to thank for show 1398. We've got 2 to go, and we're going to be at show 1400, which is quite a few shows. Most people can't get past
5.
Show 100.
5. Most fade after 5.
Nowadays.
No, most fade after 5, for sure.
Well, you would know because I'm
the Podfather. I'm the Podfather.
No, it's because you're doing a podcasting too.
No, I'm the Podfather. No, this is well known for ages.
Well, what's well known is we do have a lot of people that donated between $50 and $200, including Joshua Wells at $133.33. And we do like to thank them all individually. Jim Nijkamp, $104.
Nijkamp, I think it's Dutch.
Nijkamp, it could be Nijkamp, N-I-J, yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to change. He's got some note here. He wants to be de-douched.
Gentlemen, great. Oh, I'd like to change my longtime douchebag status to full-time producership. Please de-douche me. Yes, of course we can do that.
You've been de-douched.
Jonathan Bell, 100. Rob Van Dyke, 100. Bill Carey in San Francisco, California. Oh, another San Franciscan. 100. Matthew Smith in North Royalton, Ohio, 99.99. Richard Burmeister in Mexico.
Michael Burmeister.
Michael Burmeister in Mexico, Missouri. Wow. He's got a birthday. Jacob Smith, and he's 89.69. Jacob Smith is 88.88. Jared Worthy is 88.80. A lot of weird ones today, and he's in Great Britain. Sir Herb Lamb, the Duke of the Deep South, 8008. Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Duke of Luna, lover of America and boobs. Once again, each and every show he comes in with 8008. And of course, as long as I rant and rave about it, he'll keep doing it.
Boob.
He's the lover of America.
And boobs.
And boobs. Clayton Mehring in Twin Falls, Idaho, 6969.
Hold on, got something here. Today I received 2 signs I was overdue for a donation. Knew it was time to get de-douched. What was the thing? Okay, well, we're going to give you a de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
He also wants to call out somebody. We're going to skip it because we don't want giving people free publicity for nothing. Sir Jamo of North Central Idaho and Lewiston, Idaho, 6933. April Velasco in Anchorage, Alaska, 69. Gregory Kierdak in Padova, Italy. Oh, we got an Italian. 8686.
Fanculo!
Mario. Sir Isaac, protector of the Order of Firearms Instructors in Colorado Springs, Colorado, 5510.
Double nickels on the dime.
He's got double nickels on the dime. He said, go look it up on Wikipedia and you'll get his story. Baron Sir Economic Hitman in Houston, Texas, 5001. And now we go to the $50 donors, just the name, just the location. Starting with Kimberly Redmond in Toronto, Ontario. Greg Frank in Chicago. Jonathan Ferris in Liberal, Kansas. JR and Jim Gilkison, parts unknown, both of them. Christopher Rivera in Nederland, Colorado. Matt Rethlake in Fort Wayne, Indiana. David Schwendinger in Woodbridge, Virginia. Michael Hayner in Paris, California. Jesse Hall in Friendswood, Texas. Margarita Den Hood in Orangevale, California. Kevin O'Connell Kelligan in Glade Spring, Virginia, and he has a call out for someone. You want to read that?
Yes. Please call out my fellow dude named Ben Brian Salazar as a douchebag. Always happy to do that.
Stephen Schumach in Xenia, Ohio. That's 50. Philip Kim in San Francisco, California. Amber Glavin in Hollandale Beach, Florida. And she or somebody's got a birthday and she wants to be de-douched.
Oh, hold on.
You've been de-douched.
And she'll be on the birthday list. And that's our well-wishers and producers for show 1398. 2 to go.
Yes. Thank you all so much for producing this episode. We only ask that you bring your time, talent, and treasure to return the value for value. My goodness, so many of you have certainly brought the time and the talent. We see it on the email between every show. You are truly producing a majority of this program. And, you know, the treasure is important. Also, people who came in under $50 for anonymity, but also we have some subscriptions down there which you can take a look at. And you can find out about it on this handy website.
Dvorak.org/NA.
your birthday list. Brian Boyle says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Vanessa Chad Finkbeiner. Happy birthday to his mom, Brenda Finkbeiner. Michael Burmeister celebrates today, as does Amber Glavin. And Sir Matt Decker says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Brittany Decker, who will be celebrating tomorrow. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
Come gather round, douchebag, producer and slave, as we all thank your brothers and sisters who gave, and some of them nights, some of them days, for the titles are a-changing.
I figured I'd play the long one today. Sir Luke, the Viscount of London in the southeast, up the ante once again. You heard it earlier. We're very happy to have him here at the upgrade of the table. He is now officially the Earl of London and the Southeast, and we thank him for his longtime support of the best podcast in the universe. Now, we have 3 nights, so there is my blade. Remember, you got to have a military one for Fred.
Yes, I have the military one here. I keep it under lock and key.
Oh, I like the tassel. Very nice. All right. Hey, I'm on the podium. Paul Sayre, Emmett Stewart, and Sergeant Fred Castaneda. Gentlemen, all 3 of you are about to become Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable thanks to your support of the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. Doesn't matter how long it took you to get here. And I'm very proud to pronounce-icate thee as Sir Paul of the Gitmo Nation East Military Proving Grounds, Sir Semper Fi, and Sir Frederick the Terrible, Knight of the Airborne Paratroopers. Gentlemen, for you, we've got Hookers and Blow, we got Rent Boys, we got Chardonnay, we have Chicken Madras and Ginger Beer, Tequila and Ayo, and Carne Asada and Carnitas for the meal, a smoked turkey leg and Bush Mills, some bong hits and bourbon, ginger ale and gerbils, breast milk and pablum. And yes, we know you want it, Sergeant Fred. There's the mutton and mead. For those of you who can survive on some of that, congratulations. Make sure you go to noagendanation.com/rings and fill out everything you need for the size, the address, and Eric the Shul will get that to you as soon as possible. And thank you all for becoming Knights. Thank you for supporting the No Agenda Show.
No Agenda Meetups.
Yeah, the party is on. The party is big. NoAgendaMeetups.com is where you can find out all about the meetups taking place near you. We have a couple of reports. The first one from Spook Central, Arlington.
John and Adam, this is Sir William at the Arlington meetup, and I'm not a spook.
Hey, John and Adam, we're at the Spot the Spooky Halloween meetup in the morning. Oh, this is DC Girl.
This is HL Cadman back at it again with a message for John. Please keep talking about how great Roger is. I love it.
Evgeny Gitlin with my 2 Human Resources in the morning.
This is Roundy, and despite the rumors, John C. Dvorak is not my boyfriend.
This is Jason. I'm surrounded by Russians in shortcut dresses. Help.
Hello, this is Samra Ibishevich. Good to be here with all these great people.
This is Pierre, also candescent on No Agenda Social. I'm happy to be here and see everyone mask-free.
Hi, this is Jeff from Springfield.
No, she was
Adam, why are all your buddies dicks?
In the morning.
Jeez.
What was that about? Well, they're spooks. I thought that
Spook Central.
I thought the second one was definitely a spook.
The one who said he wasn't a spook?
No, the girl, the lady.
Oh, yeah.
Lady. Yeah,
sounds
she sounds
like
spooky.
Yeah, she sounds spooky.
It's funny to know that I was born in Arlington Hospital.
Wonder about that.
Keep on wondering. Here is the meetup report from the North Idaho Sanity Brigade.
Hi, TM, John and Adam. It's Scott the Jew with another North Idaho Sanity Brigade meetup report, or the North Idaho Sanity Bridge, as Adam most recently called it. Took place once again in Coeur d'Alene. Yes, it's Coeur d'Alene.
We're playing Spot the Spook, and the consensus...
Rob? Yeah, Rob's the spook.
Yes, he showed up late, and he's asking too many questions. He's definitely the spook.
From Virginia.
Hey, this is Jason Zappala from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, in the morning.
Shut up, slave!
Wow, the spook is shaking his head. No!
Claude from Spokane, Washington, in the morning. My name is Matt from Hayden, Idaho, in the morning.
Charlie Zappala, and beer is good.
Beer good, wine bad.
Muzzle up, slave!
My name is Jenna. I'm from Hayden, and I think I'm a douchebag, but I'm not sure.
For a better life beyond your freedom, build back better for someone else.
Muzzle up, slave!
I'm not saying too much, but every single time people
what a crazy group that was. They had a guy from Virginia who was spotted as the spook, and they called him out at the meetup.
Of course, that's what we do.
That's what they do in Idaho. That's why that place is so dangerous.
I love the fact that whenever someone sees Build Back Better, they can't help but think of our jingles and our show. I'm just saying.
I believe that's true.
One more meetup report. This is Local 76. I bet it's Philly.
What's shaking, Gitmo Nation? This is Sean here in Media, PA, deconstructing ourselves at Sterling Pig Brewery. Here's the gang.
Hey, John and Adam. Love the show. This is Cheryl. Long live the Queen until November 12th.
Hey, guys. It's Jeremy from Chester County. Train's good, plane's bad.
This is Mike, keeping the faith. Thanks for all you do.
This is Kerry, my first meetup. Been a fan of John and Adam since Cranky Geeks.
This is my first meet. It's Bert. Been listening for 3 years, and I'll have to change me being a douchebag.
Uncle John, Uncle Adam, just thank you for everything you do. I'm wondering here who's blocked me on Mastodon already. And does Horowitz work?
The stars ahead, Josh.
Say thanks, Adam.
Stay
dangerous. In the morning.
You gotta work this.
That's a good question. I think you should bring that up on the next DH. But does Horowitz actually work? What does this guy do? All he's doing is hanging around, fishing in his tiki hut,
these weird meals.
Cooking it up. Yeah, that is your No Agenda Meetup reports. Here's what's coming up for today. We have the flight of the No Agenda 22. That is in Copper at Monrovia, California. The Copper Still Grill. The Gateway to Sanity meetup at 6:30, Rock Hill, Maryland, the Global Brew Tap House. Veterans Day Farewell Bash, 7 o'clock at Pangea in... Did you just burp?
No.
Oh, it sounded like you burped. In Missoula, Montana. Could have been the dog. Tomorrow, we have the Escape from L.A. Part 2, Tennessee. That's at the Yazoo Brewery in Madison, Tennessee. Free Thought Day in Cancun, 7 o'clock p.m. Selena Cancun Laguna Hotel Zone and Co-work. Wow, I'd love to be there. On Saturday, the Irmo, South Carolina Coffee and Amygdala checkup, 10 o'clock in the morning, Loveland Coffee. That sounds nice. A quick little coffee, check on everyone's amygdala. Oh, and it's November 13th, Saturday. It's the next NA Local 512. Oh, man.
Oryx.
Yeah, but we have guests coming. God, crap. Jeez. I'm going to see what I can do.
I'd toss the guests and get the Oryx.
It's 1 o'clock, so it's possible I could
take the guests with you.
Scoot down. Hey, it's good to see you guys. Hop in the car. Let's drive for an hour and a half because we're going to get some Oryx. Yeah. Also on Saturday, the Kansas City meetup Fiesta in the Dut edition at El Potro in Bonner Springs, Kansas. South Florida meetup at 4 o'clock at Yard House Gulfstream Park in Hollandale, Florida. Man, it's a lot on Saturday. The local 919 World Domination Planning Committee gets together at 4 o'clock at the Carolina Ale House in Durham, North Carolina. We're not going to take it. That's a meetup at 5 o'clock Phoenix time at Brenda's Inferno, previously known as the Armadillo Grill. The Southern Alabama Dinner and Drinks, 5:30 at the Golden Rule in Andalusia, Alabama. Oh, Dame Jamie's going to be hosting that. Toronto Vaccidents Anonymous, 6 o'clock at the Cottage. In Toronto, the Wallace Monument meetup, noon. In Stirling, Scotland, at the Wallace Monument. All right. And then finally, for next show day, Sunday, the Twin Tiers meetup at 1 o'clock at Carrie's Brew House in Corning, New York. The second best No Agenda meetup in the 512. Oh, this is in Georgetown. That'll be on Sunday. Kicks off at 3:33 p.m. A Wrench Brewery. And that's going to do it for right now. If you go to noagendameetups.com, you'll see that we are filled up all the way through November, and we even have all the way through December 20th and much, much more. These are producer organized. Look at how many people, just listen how many people show up to these and have a good time. And they're from all over the map, all over generations, all over race, religion, you name it. You'll have a good time. It's guaranteed. NoAgendaMeetups.com. They are always like a pate.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
I only have one ISO for the competition today.
Well, it looks like that one is going to win by a forfeiture.
Because you're forfeiting, you have nothing?
I have nothing. I forgot to get ISOs.
Here we go.
I think it was a lot of yakety yak.
Perfect.
You know who that is?
Say it. Play it again.
Okay, hold on. Let me jack it up a little. Let me jack it up, man. Let me jack it up. Let me boost it. Here we go.
I think it was a lot of yakety yak.
Sounds familiar.
That's Door.
Ah.
Yakety yak. Lot of yakety yak.
Yeah, well, you should know.
Okay. There's always these little things I'm forgetting at the end.
Well, while you're looking for something to play, did we ever play this Democracy, A Danger to Democracy supercut? It's one of those Sinclair ones where everybody's saying it.
Oh, please. We played that 3 years ago.
You sure?
Oh, my God. Yes. Yeah, I'll give you the date.
Well, then don't play it. Don't play it.
See, this is what playing, but this is what is so interesting. These things come back, and it catches us all the time. It catches me all the time. But
well, you know,
we played this.
I don't consider it a topical clip, so I don't care.
All right. Do you know? You'll be surprised when you hear when we first played this. This was played for the first time on April 1st of 2018.
Oh, wow.
That you didn't expect, did you?
I expected it to be older.
Really? Oh, please.
I did. I expected it to be closer to when Trump first got elected.
Okay, there are a couple things that need to be discussed before we leave, and that is the Rittenhouse prosecution, the Rittenhouse trial. This is this kid who clearly on video shot out of self-defense.
Yeah, people bashing him, trying to steal his gun, or telling they're going to kill him and pointing a gun at him. Yeah, you mean that kind of self-defense?
Yeah. So, yes, and this got so nutty, this trial. I just want to play these two clips. One is very short. This is, in essence, where the star witness, the third guy who was shot by this kid, who I think was there just out of pure goodness of his heart to stop whatever was going on. It was quite a crazy time with the BLM riots. And so this guy... they have it on video. It's amazing. They have it on video.
It's very funny. It's indicting it's an indictment of the prosecution.
Yes.
Then he's a prosecution witness.
Yeah, he's the star witness, and he is asked to confirm that he was holding a gun. Yes. By the way, apparently the guy was a convicted felon and was not allowed to have a gun. And no convicted felon can own a firearm in the United States, and that he pointed it at Rittenhouse before Rittenhouse pulled the trigger. And this is that glorious moment.
And add to the other little element, he not only pointed at, but he started towards him.
Yes.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right? Correct.
So the guy just basically made the whole case for the kid. But this is how Court TV looked at it, because, obviously, look at the kid. He's clearly a racist. He's clearly has white supremacist tendencies, obviously a Trumper, clearly a future Republican. Whitey has got to die. This is not true. This was not self-defense. Court TV, take it away.
Your Honor, I don't know what the state's going to do next, but I suspect that it's something along the lines of they're going to use the iPad, and Mr. Binger was talking about pinching the screen. iPads, which are made by Apple, have artificial intelligence in them that allow things to be viewed through 3 dimensions and logarithms. Logarithms, I don't understand at all either. And it uses artificial intelligence or their logarithms to create what they believe is happening. So this isn't actually enhanced video. This is Apple's iPad programming, creating what it thinks is there, not what necessarily is there.
This is one of the best defenses I've ever heard. This is great.
What are they taught?
Okay, so
now you sure you got this from Court TV?
Yeah, it's in the courthouse, but it's from Court TV. So,
okay.
So the guy
Court
said,
TV made okay.
Yeah, so the guy says that what you're seeing, because it was a video, and they freeze framed the video where you see.
Don't believe what you see.
It wasn't. He said logarithm. I think he meant algorithm.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yes, it's an algorithm, and so that was really created by the iPad. I mean, they're stretching. But then listen to CBS. Now remember, the guy who just admitted that it was self-defense, he was a convicted felon, was not allowed to have a gun. All of these things were going down. But listen how CBS just wants to railroad the kid because they just can't admit what's going on.
Kyle Rittenhouse took the stand today in his murder trial, claiming he acted in self-defense. But it didn't take long for the 18-year-old to break down during questioning.
There were 3 people right there.
You can just relax for a minute, sir.
The judge calling for a break so he could calm himself. Rittenhouse's mother, seated nearby, was also in tears. Once the trial resumed, a more composed Rittenhouse said he was acting in self-defense when a protester, Joseph Rosenbaum, ambushed him.
As you see him lunging at you, what do you do?
I shoot him.
And how many times did you shoot?
I believe 4.
Rittenhouse says he took off running for police as protesters chased him, eventually falling to the ground. Rittenhouse then shot and killed another man, Anthony Huber, after he says Huber hit him in the head.
He grabs my gun, and I can feel it pulling away from me, and I can feel the strap starting to come off my body.
And what do you do then?
I fire 1 shot.
At that point, Rittenhouse shot a third man, Gage Grosskreutz, who was standing over him with a gun in his hand.
Why were you trying to get to the police?
Because I didn't do anything wrong. I defended myself.
On cross-examination, the prosecutor tried to paint Rittenhouse as an armed threat.
Mr. Rittenhouse, you're telling us that you felt like you were about to die, right?
Yes.
But when you point the gun at someone else, that's going to make them feel like they're about to die, right? That's what you wanted him to feel.
No.
Yes, it was violence. Yes, you wanted him to feel afraid. Now MSNBC takes it all the way home.
A critical piece of testimony today in this courthouse behind me, Gage Grosskreutz, the man that Kyle Rittenhouse shot and wounded during those demonstrations last summer following the police shooting of Jacob Blake here in Kenosha, is now on the witness stand. He is describing his initial interactions with Kyle Rittenhouse that night. Now, importantly, he is telling the prosecution that he brought his own weapon to the demonstrations, that he came down here as a medic. He said that his permit to carry that gun was expired, and he could not recall whether there was an actual bullet in the chamber. But he says when he first saw Kyle Rittenhouse, at some point, he believed him to be an active shooter. He does say that he approached Rittenhouse, and that is something that the defense will likely tear into during cross-examination, trying to paint him as the aggressor. And Aaron and Morgan, this is the central question of this case. Did Kyle Rittenhouse act in self-defense?
Notice how they framed that. Well, his license was expired.
Yeah, the guy was
because he was a felon. His license
the
didn't
situation
expire.
Is at that case in that case is so out of control at this point that the prosecution's trying to get a mistrial. And the judge scolded them for some questioning that was out of
the prosecution or the defense. I thought the defense is trying to get a mistrial.
I think the defense should be trying to get a mistrial, but according to the last reports I heard, it's the prosecution that's going out of its way to get a mistrial. The defense should ask for a mistrial because the jury is now being threatened by a bunch of punks. Because the jury is actually is being tampered with as we speak, and they may have to call a mistrial to save the jury.
And, they have to because you've got George Floyd's friends or family or whatever threatening, say, "Oh, we got cameras. Yeah, if they get, we got to get the right conviction. If not, we know where they are.
Yeah, we're going to go after the jury." And, they should be going after those people because that's illegal.
Yeah.
And so this thing is turning into a disaster. The prosecution can't win this case. There's no, it's just not possible.
No.
It's a mess.
But we have no justice system. The way it looks, it's just, you can't,
they're not going to find him guilty without an appeal that'll just throw the whole thing out.
And then, I still have only 998 sealed indictments to go. I think we're seeing people getting a little worried. Like, it's all tying back to the Clintons, exactly as we've been saying for 7 years, 6 years, 5? How many years?
We're geniuses.
Not really. Did you see Adam Schiff on The View, though?
Yeah, Adam Schiff was an idiot.
Yeah, I'll just play the last bit of that clip because it's funny.
It's one thing to say allegations should be investigated, and they were. It's another to say that we should have foreseen in advance that some people were lying to Christopher Steele, which is impossible, of course, to do. But let's not use that as a smokescreen to somehow shield Donald Trump's culpability for inviting Russia to help him in the election, which they did, for trying to coerce Ukraine into helping him in the next election, which he did, into inciting an insurrection, which he did.
There it is.
None of that is undercut. None of that.
I just wanted to hear Schiff say erection again. He did it.
Oh, yeah, I know. That was funny. Yeah,
inciting
he did say
an erection
once more. He keeps saying erection. What's wrong with him?
That's all that's on his mind. But he's not in Guantanamo. I thought he was locked up along with everybody else.
Schiff?
Yeah. No,
you should be.
Oh, yeah. Trump's coming back, man. Today's the day, 11/11. And tomorrow the Queen dies. It couldn't be any better. The forecasts are off the hook. Coming up next on noagendastream.com. Let me see. Since we don't have... I don't know what's coming up next. Oh, yeah. Planet Rage. There we go. That's Larry and Darren. Episode number... How many shows does Darren do? Holy crap. Coming to you from...
does that guy even work?
I don't know. Coming to you from the heart of Texas Hill Country, FEMA Region number 6 on all the governmental maps. It was good fun today. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's sunny and fair, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We wind it up with some Rolando Gonzalez and Sergeant Fred's favorite Drone Again full track. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Happy Veterans Day, Remembrance Day, and until Sunday, adios, mofos, and such.
I met a traveler from an antique land who said, through vast and trunkless legs of stone, stand in the desert.
I quit effective immediately and will not give this poison to people.
They don't care about the chaos. They don't care about the crime rate going up.
This is all wrong. People are suffering.
Why don't we blow the system up?
Our top public health experts keep claiming this over and over. There is this solipsism of the American health community that is baffling.
What we're seeing from remdesivir is a 25.7% death rate. This is a mind-blowingly high number.
And, why don't we blow the system up? It's interesting. Big lie.
These hospitals are murdering people, and they're doing so with knowledge.
So we really do have a problem of how the world perceives influenza.
The intense public response led state media outlets to release reports aiming to calm public panic.
I don't know how some of you sleep at night.
Why don't we blow the system up?
They actually want you not to believe what's right in front of you.
My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair.
Millions of doses, and millions more to come by next week. These doses will be available at approximately,
Why don't we blow the system up?
I beg your pardon. I swallowed wrong.
Nothing beside remains, round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Flying flying over Afghanistan, or maybe it was Pakistan. I promised myself to aim myself at every woman, child, and man. That was on my list. I don't care if I missed. I'm remote controlled. I do what I'm told by someone at a computer. Obama gave me a push, more than Bush, and I cost millions. I'm supposed to target terrorists, but not so much civilians. I don't know what to say. Whoops, some got in my way. A drone again, naturally. A drone again, naturally.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
I think it was a lot of yakety yak.